Whip it, baby, child, whip it right. Whip it, baby, whip it all night. Child, come on, lady, whip. Welcome to RBN Roundtable. I am one of your hosts, James Fauntleroy. So good to see all of you here on this Thursday. Welcome to my co-hosts. Go ahead and say what's up to the crowd.
Hey,
what's
guys.
I should have did this like Nick. What's popping, my family, my friends? Good to see you. I should have.
Good to be with my brothers and sisters. Look at me. Look at Nick crashing the JB show. We have Rome. He will be joining us here soon. We got the RBN Roundtable, which is back. What's popping, Sabby?
Yeah. You know, I want to do like old school Nick, like when he gets close to the microphone, like he's doing the quiet storm, you know, at late night. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you.
Before following politics aged me like 10 years. Before politics really started to negatively impact my health. Back I used to be cool, calculated. Then I saw just a bunch of children die, you know, just a little bit of children being dismantled. So it's more just raging in the microphone nowadays.
Oh man. Yeah. I got my gray hairs, huh? Yeah, you guys can see them here on camera. But yeah, trust and believe. It has aged me just being in this space. All right, everybody. So just to let you guys know, we going to be every single month on the last Thursday of the month. You guys will be able to catch the RBN Roundtable with all of us coming together like Voltron. So yes, this is going to be from here on out. By the way, if you guys have not, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. That pushes us out into the algorithm so that we can be able to reach more people, to inform, to educate, and to inspire. So thank you so very much for that. If you guys would like to, you guys can also join our mailing list at revolutionaryblackout.substack.com. This gives you email notifications whenever we go live or upload any clips. If you guys have any questions or would like to submit stories for us to possibly cover, you guys can go to revolutionaryblackout@outlook.com. So thank you so very much for that. Just to say hello to everybody that's in the chat. Also, we're waiting for Rome. He'll be here shortly. Casey coming in saying solidarity and fire. Good to see you. We have Bryce coming in saying Roundtable is back. Yes, absolutely. Good to see you in the chat, Bryce. We have Joseph coming in saying hello, everyone. Good to see you in here, Joseph. Also, we have Zach. Lao Salam Kamids. Good to see you as well. We got Nick saying banger after banger. Yes.
After banger after banger after banger.
Bang, bang, bang. I'm in my Wayans Brothers type of mode right now. We have Leroy coming in saying, good day, my family. Good to see you, Leroy. Jay Blue says, is it time? It's time. All right. Dana Fairbanks coming in saying, hey, everybody. Hey, Dana. Casey says, I want to say, RBN family, you've been there for me through some tough-ish this past 3 years. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, these 3 years been crazy, haven't it? They 3 years been like 30 to me.
I can't believe it's been 3 years. It feels like it's a lot longer than that.
Bro, 4 years ago, I was on the lot selling Hondas. It's like, bro, that's not that long ago. Grace, it's wild to see how everything that developed since then. When we decided to brainstorm, put the network together, how many people we inspired to engage in mutual aid, and just the chaos generally that has happened since then. But we uncover a bit of that as we continue our live. We got a lot of great stories, but go ahead, JB.
All right. We have Judges chapter 6, verse 1 says, the Black Sabbath war pig says soldiers, riders, and G's. Oh my. Sorry. What the hell is in that tea? Anyway, Retro Gamer coming in saying, hello. Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes and I can see it in your smile. All right, we have Eric T. Red saying, yo, I knew you guys, Savs. I knew you keen ears. GP says, yay, good to see you in here. Wesley coming in saying, good afternoon from Atlanta, Georgia. We have Nikki's World. Yo, is your world? I'm just a squirrel. Hey, everyone. Good to see you. DD coming in saying, hi, friends. Long time no see, Nick. All right. And let's do a couple more so while we're in here because I didn't get to say hello to some of y'all. As me says, nice photos. Thank you so very much. We do what we can over here. And one more. Oh, Jacqueline coming in. And I can't leave out my homeboy from the RB in Orlando chapter. Katie Lewis says, good evening, comrades. Very excited for the roundtable. All right. So with that being said, everybody, hello. Good to see you. How you doing? All right, grab a snack, grab a drink, grab a bowl if you're so inclined to. But we're gonna get into our stories. We can go about which one we would like to do. Before I get into that, I want to say hello to Uncle Grandpa.
Rome.
Hold on.
Uncle Grandpa, our brother Rome.
Rome, you're looking good, brother.
Can you hear us?
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I think he might be trying to change his. Maybe he's trying to change his name. Uncle Grandpa.
He should have kept it. Uncle Grandpa is a fire name.
Yeah. Rome, you ready? Uh-oh.
He gonna refresh.
Okay. All right. Well, while we're at it, we're going to be talking about some of the stories that we're going to be getting into. As you guys are probably aware, we actually had 4 stories that we're going to be covering for you guys today, and I want to make sure that we get into that because, there's 4 of us, so there's going to be 4 stories. Let me make sure. Got that up. Perfect. So we're going to be talking about Bolivia coup that was stopped. We're going to be talking about Biden versus Trump once again. We're going to talk about Kenyans are saying no to William Ruto, who is the president of Kenya. And then we're going to be talking about reparations success in California. So that's what we're going to be talking about for this stream. What story do you guys want to start off with?
We can start light. I can start things off for us. If you guys don't mind, we can just do our little pre-debate. It's not a long story. I found something that was interesting. But first, something that is notable about the debate tonight is that it's only Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. Isn't that strange? Because you guys know I'm not a fan of RFK. I'm not a fan of duopoly candidates. I'm not a fan of people who are pro-military industrial complex. And no matter what you say, RFK Jr. is pro-military industrial complex. Zionism plays a giant role. It's a key component of the military industrial complex. If you support the Zionist entity, you are an imperialist. You support the military industrial complex. This is literally what RFK Jr. himself said, where he explained very candidly how Israel is very important because it serves as a strategic hub for the United States empire in the Middle East. We got to have a partner in Israel. We had to create Israel, or it'll be all the dirty Arabs that control the resources. That is the implication. So he is a tool of the military industrial complex. But with that said, we still have to acknowledge that he's a valid third-party candidate that meet all the CNN criteria. CNN made all these debate criteria, and RFK Jr. hit them all. You also have Dr. Joe Stein in the race, who's not getting the invite as well. So it's already extremely shady that you have essentially the duopoly that is monopolizing discourse. But before I continue, I want to get Rome. Rome, can you hear us this time? Rome, going once, going twice. Unmute. You got to mute, Rome. Let's go.
Yeah. It's good now. Man, my laptop been fucking up. My bad, y'all. I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes trying to get everything right, but I'm in now. If y'all can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5 p.m. Eastern, if you guys just join the stream, I see a lot of people running in. 5 p.m. Eastern time once a month during the Savvy and JB show. We're going to have the RBN roundtable, and we are here. It's great to have you guys here. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on the debate. It's going to be a shit show. People have all these expectations about, oh my God, this debate is so monumental. So much is that line. No one changed their fucking minds at these things. They say this all the time. No one changes their mind at these things. But it is interesting for me. I only watch it for one reason, and that's for the foreign policy, because I'm a foreign policy nerd. And you have if you run for president, you're running for the position of commander in chief. The only thing that's really relevant is foreign policy. And as I go through the story, you're going to see how the Biden administration is actually upset that foreign policy for first time since maybe 2008, because the Iraq war referendum, the first time we are seeing foreign policy actually being discussed legitimately in this race. You have even the neocons questioning Trump on NATO. You have Biden and Trump that have to answer a question on Gaza. And in the story, you had the Biden team that admit, like, man, we're very frustrated because the press and people keep wanting to talk about foreign policy instead of domestic issues like abortion. And my reaction to that is, you are running to be commander-in-chief, you deeply unserious clown. If you're running to be president, it's the main thing we should be focused on. So that's what I'm focused on. We're going to have two people running and competing in order to compete to see who's going to sell out the American people to Israel the most. Now, I want to hear you guys' reaction.
That's what the first debate was about. It was literally who's going to get more money to Israel, who's going to get more money to the police. I like the police. I funded the police more. No, Donald Trump actually defunded the police in his bill, and it was the same. It's going to be the same shit, just on a different stage. That's all.
Now we see what will actually happen, because I'm guessing that I think that I heard this debate going to be 90 minutes, so maybe 10 minutes of that going to be foreign policy. And what does that say about how unserious our media is? I was screaming during the primaries. They had these primaries in the Republican Party. No conversation about foreign policy. They'll have whole debate. They'll touch only like 5-10 minutes. They'll save a route to China. 90% of the time, domestic culture war issues. And guys, you understand how fucked this is? We are in the United States of America. They are running for the commander-in-chief. They have no say. They lobby towards Congress. At best, they can do executive order, and they sign the legislation. When it comes to the office of the presidency, what matters the most is foreign policy. And it's crazy how people found the other way. Now look at the strategy. We see how much Biden actually engaged in this. And before I continue, I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. Genocide Joe Biden, the guy who's funding multiple genocides, the guy who's arming Nazis in Ukraine, his strategy is to paint Trump as the man who has foreign policy that is too dangerous. So before I continue, I want to open up the panel for any thoughts that you guys have.
I was just going to say it's going to be really interesting. I think a lot of people are going to drop off after the first 30 minutes of the debate. Yeah. A lot of times people just watch that first 30 minutes and then drop off or whatever. But it's crazy because I don't think that Biden or his administration was prepared to have this conversation about foreign policy until the war started after October 7th, because one of the things that was leaked was that the Biden administration was not prepared to deal with the backlash that came from pro-Palestinian protesters. They were not prepared for that. They didn't expect that to happen. So they just had no response to that at all, Nick. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he defends his position right now. But at the same time, also, Trump also is in support of what Israel was doing. So I don't know where they're going to end up on that. Trump will probably beat him about Ukraine, because that is something that he was pretty vocal about for the past, I think, year and a half. He was saying, like, this war would have never happened if I was still in office. But we had to remember, too, like, Trump did give money to Ukraine. He didn't give billions and billions like under the Biden administration. Trump is guilty of the coups in Venezuela as well. So Anya Parampil wrote a book about this. I think her book was just published recently. But I think what Trump is probably going to lead with during the foreign policy discussion is the fact that he didn't start any new wars under his administration. And under Joe Biden, we have the war in Ukraine, we have the war in Gaza. Right now, we have the infiltration of Kenyan troops going into Haiti. That's all happening under the Biden administration. So I think that's what Trump is probably going to lead with.
Ron, JB, anything else you want to add before I continue? Going once, going twice?
Yeah, I just do I still have an echo? I hope not.
No.
Okay, good.
I don't hear anything.
One of the things I think is that Joe Biden could, see, if Joe Biden was actually principled, he could actually attack Trump and say, well, you may have not started any new wars, but you damn sure continued the rest of them. And he can say that. And also Joe Biden, if he was a principled person, he would go, well, you almost caused us a war with Iran by killing Qasem Soleimani. So that's what you did. And so if he was principled and not a warmongering, maniac, well, then he could possibly do that. But unfortunately, they're both two sides of the same doo-doo covered coin. So it's like, why in the world, like, what can Biden really say to Trump? And what can Trump really say to Biden? It's really just going to be, well, I'm not as bad as you, and I'm not as bad as you. And this is why I want people to realize there really is no choice out until you get outside of duopoly. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things I try to convey to people. But people still online, even on Twitter, is like, well, who you suggest should be, their third option? And I'm like, take your pick. There's like 5, 6 of them.
Yeah. That's why I think it's all just a waste of time. All they're going to do is argue about who's going to do the most for the empire. Nobody's going to be actually sitting up there trying to represent the working class or the working man. Nobody during this whole debate is going to say anything about the working class, and the working class is going to go with it. And this is why I was just having a conversation with, the store owner. I said, you conservatives, you are shallow, because you don't want to know why we are having, like, if they was to speak on the immigration problem, both of them support the same things, right? So it's like, you don't want these immigrants and all these illegal immigrants over here, blah, 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 but you don't want to look in why they are, why we have people coming over here, why there are so many immigrants and people from other countries coming over here. You just want to benefit. You don't want to look into it. So it's just going to be a shit show. And I mean that literally. I think both of them is going to have to take a break to change their diapers. But
I know it's not going to happen, but I really, really hope that Donald Trump calls him Genocide Joe.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, you have the chance to do the funniest thing in history of presidential politics. Please.
Genocide Joe.
Look, we know that Trump supports the genocide too, right? But he has the opportunity. Imagine Donald Trump, imagine the moment. Imagine how much it will be self-serving to Trump. We know that he will be he's a hypocrite, but that viral moment of Trump calling him Genocide Joe, I still remember this. Come on, Trump, do it. Come on, man. Come on, Trump. You know you want to do it. That clip cuts off because I found that last second because I was thinking about it. But Trump, bro, please call him Genocide Joe one time. Now, one thing that I also find funny before I get to the substance of the story is Trump, and I see a lot of people in the comments who agree with Trump when the liberal corporate media have been melting down because Trump has been saying that Joe Biden is going to be jacked up on drugs. Have you guys seen that? What Trump said, Biden is going to be jacked up on something. That's the message that a lot of Trump supporters keep spreading. A lot of the corporate media. Here's an example. Since I show you guys just some receipts. The corporate media have been melting down about this, and this is hilarious. And even though I don't like Trump, this is why the elite class is completely disconnected with why many people in America in our society likes Trump. Because what a lot of people are getting offended about is undeniably funny and true. And I'm going to explain that here soon. Look, Trump keeps baselessly, what do you mean baselessly? Claiming that Biden will be on drugs at the debate. Now, why would anyone? And I'm saying this because I saw a lot of people in the chat saying this. I featured him. But he had this. He had the debate with Bernie Sanders. Well, he was clearly on some shit, clearly different than we ever seen. And as the media is pretending that there's no evidence that Biden is going to go to his debate jacked up. And by the way, I'm not pretending that this is unique to Biden. There was apparently a big drug problem in the Trump White House. The Obama White House, there was use of drugs too. They all they party hard in the ruling class. They're all drug fiends and sex addicts. So
and JFK too. JFK also used drugs.
Oh yeah, we can do a whole stream on it, Savvy. We can do a whole stream. Yeah, feel free to interrupt anytime, guys. I'll try to finish up my presentation here shortly. But the media is pretending there's no evidence of Biden not using drugs. Now here's Biden giving a speech where he does not blink. You want to know the kind of people who?
Oh my God!
You can't be
for tens of seconds at a time without blinking. The kind of motherfuckers on some kind of drug.
Insurrection and pro-cop.
Look at this.
You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American.
Blink!
Trump lacked the courage to act.
Damn it, Joe! Blink!
Men in blue all across this nation should never.
Let us know you're in danger.
Well, you guys notice something? He didn't blink. This motherfucker is high as a kite. So meanwhile, the media has been melting down because Trump and his team is saying the obvious that whenever Biden gives these public speeches and very high pressure performances, he is clearly jacked up, and anyone with two eyes can see that. And then the media does what our Orwellian society tells us to do: ignore your eyes and your ears. But
his fucking son is a crackhead, and the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. I'm told, right? You know, so I'm pretty sure 80-something-year-old man would have to be jacked up on some type of substance to sit up there in front of all those cameras melting, you know, in front of all that light, in front of the whole world. And yeah, he's gonna have to be propped up on something. Trump is gonna be propped up on something.
Yeah.
probably detected, but the thing is, this is their 8 Mile Eminem moment, because I have read about, you know, Biden declining to take a drug test before the debates. So this is their, you know what I'm saying? They trying to say it before somebody make it a punchline. They're trying to get to it before they make it a punchline, before Trump and his administration making a punchline up on that stage. But it's not going to work because we all know it. Like they all, like the first thing, like if you was to watch a movie and you see a politician backstage, you know, before they go, what they do, they and then they go on stage, yeah, everybody. Like, come on. It's not unusual though. Most of the world is on some type of substance. So yeah, I would expect for some 80-year-old senile motherfucker to be on some type of drug. Yeah.
So now think about is it really that unreasonable? The liberal class keeps saying this is the most important election of our lifetime, where democracy is at stake. Where if Trump takes office, it will be the end of our democracy as you know it. If you truly believe that, I'll be like, nigga, take this drug right now. The fate of the country is too important for you to be on some drug-free nonsense. So I definitely believe that they're doing this. But anyway, let's get back to the substance. I went a little bit off track.
This is definitely not a drug-free debate.
Hell no. Hell no. If I had an 85-year-old revolutionary that was carrying our team, we get a revolution done, and we need him at the helm, and he has an important debate coming up, and the fate of the working class was at stake, and we knew this motherfucker was a little bit low energy. I'm like, guys, we need to jack this motherfucker up on something. The movement is too important. Anyway, so I get it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, too, for people that may not be aware, Jill Stein is going to do a post-debate rebuttal, I think at 9:30, and RFK apparently is doing his own debate at the same time as this debate.
Okay. Who's gonna watch that?
They might as well just debate each other. I think he's scared of her, bro. Like
he won't even debate Jill Stein.
Yeah, Jill Stein called him out very publicly.
Yeah,
and I know that the RFK team got the offer to debate Dr. Cornel West because remember when I had David Tabut on our show, rest in peace, and Aaron Good. and they was on the and David Taboo was on RFK Jr. team. They literally delivered the message that Dr. Cornel West said on our show that they want to do debate. And I would talk to Aaron Good, and he said, "Yeah, we're gonna get that message to the campaign." They got it, and they ducked the debate with Dr. West and Jill Stein. So, and he also ducked the conversation, not even in the debate, but the conversation he was supposed to have with Max Blumenthal. So you have RFK Jr. going around complaining about not being included. Sir, you're not allowed to make that complaint because you're essentially doing the same thing that you're accusing Biden and Trump of doing, because Biden and Trump is doing the smart thing. Why should we debate someone who's lower number than us? RFK Jr. is using the same excuse not to debate Jill Stein. So I don't want to hear it between RFK Jr. and his code. But for sake of time, I know we got a lot of stories to cover. I'm gonna speed this up. So I'm gonna read just a little bit of this article. Remember, here's the headline, and this is hilarious on face value. Biden aims to paint Trump as man whose foreign policy makes him too dangerous to be in the Oval Office. Now, this is and I'm skimming this article. I'm actually trying to speed this up for sake of time. Where you have, and I've seen so many of these stories where they try to pretend they're this giant seismic shift between Trump and Biden on foreign policy. Blinken and Biden kept Trump's policy on Iran in the Iran deal. During the election, Biden and Democrats criticized Trump for the Iran deal. When asked whether they're going to get an Iran deal, Blinken said we should going to do the same thing. They follow the same pattern that the Trump administration did. You have Cuba, where the Biden administration is not only following the footsteps of Trump, he doubled down on the Cuban embargo. And you have activists and reporters that reported on the fact that the Cuban embargo right now is actually harsher than under Trump. But we didn't get to that answer. I just want to read it. This one part is hilarious. I'll just read the beginning. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump's foreign policy positions have sometimes seemed like an afterthought in an election with domestic concerns at heart. CNN, who are you talking to? How out of touch are you? When they try to say, well, they are. Some people care about foreign policy, but come on, man. Most people care about. No, our generation is tuned in on Gaza, but let's continue. Yet with two hot wars, growing global instability, and a right-wing tilt towards isolationism. Now, pause. There's so many things wrong with this sentence alone. Now do you guys see the sin of Jamal Bowman? The sin of Bernie Sanders? The sin of AOC? What did I tell you guys on the RBN way before this article anything was released? I said the reason why Bernie Sanders, AOC, and the squad has to support NATO because the strategy by the establishment is to turn the anti-war position into the quote-unquote right-wing position. So now if you oppose NATO in the war in Russia, now you're a quote-unquote right-wing isolationist. Rome, the famous right-wing isolationist. And the funny thing is, the people who oppose the war, they're not isolationists. We're not against trade, dialogue. That's just the smear job they use to attack anyone who's going after peace. Now, this last paragraph I read, and I'm almost done with my segment here. The Biden campaign, and this shows you how unserious the Biden campaign is and how much they know the issue of Gaza is hurting them. You're running to be the commander-in-chief, sir, but listen to this. The Biden campaign is hoping to make domestic issues like the economy and reproductive rights the centerpieces of the president re-election argument. So since RBN is one of the few serious channels that actually exist, I'm here to tell you guys something that many people don't know in America. The president has very little to do with domestic policy. Do you guys know that? When I hear people talk about the office of the presidency and they focus on domestic issue, it makes me roll my eyes in the back of my skull. Why do you guys think I focus on foreign policy 90% of the time? That is what the president controls. That, and when you interviewing the president, when you're talking about the president, that should be your focus. Meanwhile, in America, they like, oh my God, let's talk about the domestic policy that the Congress controls. You see how people are brainwashed in this country? But I stopped there in terms of the article. Anything you guys want to chime in?
It's funny when we say something about it, like, well, Donald Trump, Joe Biden promised this, and that. Oh, well, you have to go to your local branch. You have to go to this. You have to go. So why did he say something about the shit then, right? So we damn if we do, we damn if we don't. It's fucked up.
I just want to answer this really quick because I want some people may not be aware. Grape and Time, I mean, will RBN do a live feed during the debate? Come on, this would be hilarious. So for those who are not aware, unfortunately, CNN bought exclusive rights to this debate. Sagar actually called this out on Twitter. He was the first one I saw call this out, and I was like, what? And so if you go over to Breaking Points, they created a video about why we can't do this. So I'm talking about us, like TYT, even of course, like Breaking Points, like CNN bought exclusive rights to this debate, but it's available to the public for free. So the response that came from CNN is that they are not allowing independent media to cover their debate. So if we were to try to live stream it, it would be taken down. It would be the stream will be cut. We'd probably be hit with a copyright strike. We could also be hit with a lawsuit, because they exclusively own it. In the past, we've been able to cover the debates because those were done by the congressional debates. It wasn't owned by CNN. So hopefully the one that's in September, I think that one is not going to be owned by them. I think that'll be the usual, what we're used to. But that's why you don't see anybody streaming the debate tonight on YouTube. Some people are taking the chance to stream it on Rumble. I'm not taking that chance because, again, I don't want to be sued. And I'm sorry. Like some people, I know Tim Pool said he might do it anyway, but they have resources that we don't have. It's just the reality.
It's pathetic because CNN is so desperate. They think they're going to break, like, according to all the forecasts, they're going to break all like the debate records tonight because how big and how much of a shit show there's going to be. But they think that's going to revive their failing network. I saw a number where they said CNN primetime only got around 100,000 viewers for the prime demo, the lowest in history. You guys realize that independent media channels like Danny Hyphon, Savvy Savs himself, get more than 100,000 in the prime demo, but CNN is struggling to get that, right? They think this debate gonna get people to tune in to their.
You see how out of touch these people are, because we have streamers who get fucking hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah.
Over, like, if you was to just let them to put some commentary behind it, whatever, they will connect more people to your or have a younger audience going to CNN just to watch the debates or whatever the fuck it may be. Casanet can probably do a live debate and get 300,000 people. Probably, I know he can get way more than CNN at a live show, right? And it's so out of touch, and this is why they are failing now, because they didn't try to connect with the independent media. They didn't try to connect with the smaller audience. They tried to shut us down, and now they like every debate. If you can look from Barack Obama to right now, every debate got harder to actually to broadcast. I remember David Pacman was going through something like this when it was 2016 Bernie Sanders debate. It was it was real hard to have them on your shows. But
yeah, I just want to add too for also about the debate thing. The other thing too is that certain networks were approved by CNN to stream the debate. Of course, it's mainstream media. It's only mainstream media network, so of course you know how that is. But under the rules, they have to leave CNN's logo on the stream the entire time. They are not allowed to do commentary in between the debate, which is what we do. Like when we do debates, obviously we comment and stuff. They're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, last time I covered a debate was one of the Republican primary debates. I covered it. And I was like, this is the last time I'm ever doing this, because I told you guys I was covering it just to talk about the foreign policy segment. These motherfuckers had a 90-minute debate where 60 minutes of it was culture war issues. 60 minutes. They got foreign policy maybe 10 minutes. Then election integrity was like another 20 minutes. I was like, all right, dude, I was wasting my time doing this, to be honest. It's just going to be background noise so I can tell you guys what happened for the most part. Now I'm going to get to my last part because we got other stories we want to do. I don't want to go too much longer. So this is my last rebuttal because it's obvious why this headline is ridiculous. I just think it's hilarious if Biden and their team really would do this. I don't think they will, because I think their strategy is to avoid any conversations about foreign policy. You had Biden. It was leaked. I'm trying to remember why I read this. But I remember it was leaked where people had questions for Biden. They were given strict instructions not to ask about Gaza. So hold on the source on. I gotta remember where I read that from. But Biden and their team is asking reporters, don't ask questions about Gaza. You ask about reproduction rights, You ask about the Supreme Court, maybe. You maybe can ask some inflation, but they're not doing it. So I don't even believe this headline, but if they do try to paint this idea that Trump is a danger to the world, let me remind you guys. Let me show you guys one of my bangers. You guys know I'm dropping bangers after bangers. So this is one of them. Well, I was just thinking one day because I was in my bed thinking. That's why I do. I'm a thinker. I was thinking like, bro, you know how many fucking foreign conflicts that we're involved in? Do you guys know how crazy this is? How many countries spend their time talking about what countries they're about to invade next? What countries should we put sanctions on next? You know, when you listen to Lula, when you listen to Xi Jinping, what do they talk about in their speeches? Oh, yo, we got this dope idea for high-speed rail. This is Xi Jinping. Hey, yo, I got this plan to boost education. They constantly talking about building shit. Meanwhile, if you listen to a speech by a Democrat, they're like, this is why we need to send bombs to Ukraine. We need to allow strikes into Russian infrastructure. We need sanctions to China. We need to send weapons to Taiwan. We need to send nuclear submarines to Australia. We need to bomb Somalia. All you guys is always just offense. And people don't realize how bad it is because they don't pay attention to other countries. It's actually extremely strange. Now, this is my last tweet to sum up how ridiculous the strategy is. You have Joe Biden that's currently using Ukraine to fight Russia, Israel to fight a multi-pronged war to update this, because not only they've been using Israel to fight Iran, they're now fighting a war in Hezbollah, they're fighting a war on the West Bank, because that's a war that they're fighting on the West Bank. You have Gaza. You got them assassinating generals and politicians. Then you have, as I just mentioned, Japan, Australia, and Taiwan to fight China. You have Japan, Imperial Japan, that was ordered to demilitarize. We got militarized Japan back, Simon and JB. You have Japan that doubled their military budget, and they're talking about how China's being aggressive. Japan, you're not allowed to say anything about China after what you guys did in World War II to them. Let's continue. And I have a whole stream I'm playing on this. There's so much to talk about regarding Kenya and Haiti. I know we're going to talk about President Ruto. Oh, boy. We want to talk about sellout. We're going to get to them. We're going to get to him later. But you got Kenya that joined this coalition against the orders of the Kenya Supreme Court, by the way. And they have the people fighting and dying in Haiti. You have ECOWAS that is forming a coalition against Niger that, if I was to give you guys an update, it's actually falling apart. The ECOWAS coalition, because once again, Biden's influence in Africa is falling. You have the Ecuador coup that was largely blamed by the Ecuador fighting Mexico, and they invaded Mexican embassies. Yeah, all this stuff that the Biden administration, all this conflict that they are breeding throughout the world, but they want to paint Trump, Republicans as the unhinged ones. Remember, we post-duopoly. Once Trump gets off, he's going to continue all this stuff. The idea that we have a lesser evil, any of these people, is absurd. But anyway, that's the end of my presentation. I'll pass it to the panel. Anything you guys want to add, or we get to the next story. Going once, going twice.
JB.
All right. So for this segment, what we're going to do is we're going to ask you guys go ahead and give a like for the stream. Please make sure to share this. We deeply appreciate it. Also, while we're at it, we're going to go over some of the super chats just to cover for this particular segment so that we make sure that we get to all of them in time. So we're going to go to the chats. Let me check on the Rockfin. We don't have any tips right now, so we have that there. Thank you so much to Luca for being a member for 16 months. Clap it up for Luca. Thank you so very much. Also, we have Eric T. Rez says one of them might make a truthful statement, talking about Biden and Trump. Broken clock, baby, broken clock. We have Joe coming in saying Guantanamo for Congress 2024. Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Guantanamo, definitely. Christian says, good afternoon, fam. Quick question. How do you feel about the rumors of Black media outlets weren't invited to the debate? Your thoughts, please. Did either one of you guys want to comment on that?
To be honest, it doesn't surprise me. But even if they was, because before in the debates are they allowing diversity of thought, or is it only certain skin colors allowed? Because let's say hypothetically they did. Would they allow RBN? Would they allow Black Alliance for Peace? I promise you, it would be a shit lib in there, which is important to highlight. They never allowed Black radicals. You had an African reporter in the press corps, and the Biden administration refused to call on them for a year and a half. Any Black person who is not a sellout neoliberal, you would never see it in Washington circles. That's why the presence of RBN, Black Alliance for Peace, it shatters people to the core. White liberals can't handle us because they're used to us being muted. If you see a Black person on TV who the media is not being hostile to, and they're having a friendly, cordial conversation, that motherfucker is a sellout the like you've never seen before. Like Bakari Sellers. I just saw him on CNN talking about you would see people like Bakari Sellers, Joy Ann Reid. So to answer your question, even just to add some substance to my commentary, if there was Black media outlets, there'll be neoliberal, conservative sellouts anyway. So who cares, right? They would never.
And they would never.
And they're pro-Israel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're anti-reparations. They are anti. These the type of Black people who would say, "I don't like niggas, but I like Black people." You know, those are the type of niggas that you would see.
Sound like Chris Rock.
You know, like let's be real. Like these people are.
That's a great point that you guys made.
They are the highest of the PMCs of the blacks, of the Black people that you will ever see, that you will ever get. So I don't like the only way I see a Black media outlet going out there is by them bomb rushing, and I mean using every right to them that they have to go and like question some of these people before the debates, or going to their halls of justice. You know what I'm saying? They're whatever the fuck their politicians. That's the only way I see these Black media outlets being represented in any ways, making your voice heard. You know, and not letting them use your voice. And that was the whole thing. Like when we all got done with the Democratic Party, when we all got done with the Democratic Party, we didn't hold back on these motherfuckers. We went further to the left, but these people stay in place because they know where the fucking money at. But you will never.
I understand the appeal because I want to destroy the Zionists at all costs. So I understand making the appeal that AIPAC is targeting Black lawmakers. And when you look at the numbers, it could be statistically true, but that's not the motive because the Black Congressional Caucus is all sold out by the Israeli lobby. When you look at Hakeem Jeffries and Jim Clyburn, they are hardcore Zionists. So it's not that they just go after Black people arbitrarily. It is they're not allowing any diversity of thought in Washington, D.C. If you are someone who's anti-Israel, that's way more important. It just so happens that Black people generally can spot out colonialism, and I think that's very important to mention because you don't want to give these people any inch, like as if there's not hardcore corruption on the Black Congressional Caucus for supporting Zionism. But JB, I'll pass back to you.
All right, let's go to the next one. Thank you very much for this, Nestor, for this super chat. Debate will be one, who loves Israel the most? 2, illegals bad. 3, China bad. 4, Ukraine and Putin bad. 5, Julian Assange. Yes, this will be used as who threatens democracy since Trump arrested him.
Yeah.
The only thing I disagree with is number 5. There's no way they muttering this man's name ever again. They never muttering this man's name ever again.
I think Trump will have the balls to do it, but I think the only way he's gonna do it is be like, I was gonna do like me and JB were just talking about this. Like, you only free Julian Assange for political points.
I love Rome's Trump impersonation there. But regarding the rest, it's going to be no conversation on class issues. It's going to be essentially Biden running to Trump's right like he did last election. You have all these idiots in the progressive movements. I'm sorry. I'm very upset with these people. Where I covered this. I remember during the debate between Biden and Trump, you have Biden that was openly running on the fact that he's going to fund the police more than Trump. He said he's going to drill more than Trump. The Sunrise Movement endorsed Joe Biden. As he said he's going to drill more than Trump. And then now the Sunrise Movement is like, oh no, who could have seen this coming? It's so absurd.
The fringe left, as they call it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. Thank you so much for this super chat. Roger Meadows says, love to go to DC with Wonder Woman's lasso and watch him run. Wonder Woman. Chris C says, no wonder the D's and R's don't want Jill Stein in there. She's a literal medical doctor and could diagnose both of them as being on drugs.
Yeah, she said that Biden has early stage dementia. She said he's in the early stages of dementia as a medical doctor.
Early stages? I think it's an understatement, but I'm not a medical doctor.
She's being nice.
Wadi says they need to refer to it as CNN presidential debate as well. I think they're allowed to sell ads during the 2 commercial breaks, though.
Yep.
And by the way, to show you guys how rules are not real in this country, CNN violated the FEC in the RFK campaign came with receipts. Like, according to the FEC, I should qualify for this debate. So based on if rules was actually real for the ruling class, this wouldn't be a sponsored debate. Like, this shouldn't be legal. It shouldn't be legal based on the FEC. But when it comes to the ruling class, they just say fuck it. We do whatever we want. Go ahead, Sabby.
But this is why it needs to go back to the League of Women Voters. That's who needs to handle the debates. It needs to go back to that. The debate shouldn't be on CNN or Fox News. They can go back to having debates on C-SPAN. But the League of Women Voters, they really do need to take this back over.
Agreed. All right. Going to this next one from Powell says, greetings from Austria. Biden versus Trump is ish versus vomit. 99% of Western politicians are arrogant morons without any sense of self-preservation. I am looking for mutual aid organizations where I can help. All right, great. Thank you so very much for that. Just making sure I didn't skip over any.
That's a way better spend your money. I seen in response to that, because that's one of the things I'm most proud about. I know we're not necessarily a giant channel. I'm not trying to be a fucking celebrity. The only reason I got into this is because I want to motivate people to get into mutual aid. I saw the $300 million that we spent on Bernie. I'm like, bro, never again. And now, this is a quick transition point because we're just having fun and chatting here a little bit too. Because you want to know the organizations that want us to waste your money again? Here's Black Lives Matter. We have to protect Cori Bush. So
wait, what?
According to Black Lives Matter, they want to run a campaign. They want some more mansions. Sabby, Rome. So now I've seen these tweets everywhere, and not just I'm picking on them because I quote tweeted them. I saw them. I went after them. But Black Lives Matter. I've seen all these burning cracks. They're like, we got after Jamal Bowman lost, they were trying to use that as a rallying cry. We need support. We had to protect Cori Bush. Like. No, the fuck we don't. I'm glad they got ratioed to death for even suggesting this. You have all these social democrats that putting these tweets out, and they're getting ratioed. They don't realize this shit not 2016 no more. Like, this shit not. I'm not gonna go through the thread because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but they don't realize that people are done with this bullshit. And Sabby, I'm glad that you shared that stat with me before I went live, showing how AOC support literally like less than she declined by like 1/3 of her support almost. So it's the Justice Democrats going bankrupt. DSA is in shambles. So I'm glad the fraud, it was one of the greatest frauds ever committed on the working class, the Bernie movement. But I'm glad it's dead, my friends. The professional managerial class, they should be more upset at AOC and Bernie than we are. Because AOC and Bernie pulled the ladder up.
Yeah, the turnout is low. And it's happening in Europe too. So this is why I've been paying attention to what's happening to the European elections too. So I just spoke to Claire Daly about this. She said low turnout for her race. It was low turnout for Jamal Bowman, low turnout for AOC. So yeah, AOC won, but the turnout has decreased over time.
Can I comment on that, Sabby? Can we talk about this? What a fumble that was. You have fucking Claire Daly, my friend. I mean, how many times I said on my stream that Claire Daly is everything that AOC pretends to be, and you let her lose to the establishment? Like, Jesus, man. I don't put that much stock in voting, but if you got a Claire Daly, you gotta protect her. That was a huge fumble by them, a huge fumble to lose Claire Daly. Period. And that's a lot for me to say that as someone who don't invest in electoral politics. But if you got a fucking Claire Daly, y'all gotta support. y'all gotta protect that motherfucker as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But go ahead, JB.
I'm just like the whole protect Cory Bush or protect this and that Democrat. Who are we protecting them from? Other Democrats. We are protecting Democrats from other Democrats. Why is that? You know, like, why should we waste our time with this fucking party? You guys are insane. And you want us to waste our time.
Nazis in Ukraine. She voted to fund Nazis in Ukraine. There's no fucking way. She supported NATO. She supported the COVID mandates. There is no fucking way.
But she's to the left.
Black Lives Matter, who, by the way, is getting cooked. You said what wrong?
Sorry. Police. She's to the left.
They saying that
after they didn't give the Capitol Police billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I think they probably saying that about Cory Bush because remember she came from the Ferguson protest movement. Because you don't see them saying we got to protect anybody else.
Yeah, but I mean, that's one of the biggest issues. Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues, though, because I mean, when you think about a lot of the people who we regarded as revolutionary or regarded as leaders of the civil rights movement, for instance, John Lewis. John Lewis, well, he was a leader in the civil rights movement, but then what did he do? He walked away from his roots. And so he basically was a sellout by the end of his life. What doesn't make people think that Cory Bush can't do the same? And in fact, I would argue that Cory Bush probably did it in record time faster than John Lewis ever did.
Yeah, JB, to that point, I told you guys on this show, like, if people who follow my earlier work, you guys see how radicalized I become. Where I said in 2020 when I worked on the Berry campaign, this is it. I'm done after this. If it failed this time, I'm done. You have Cory Bush who got elected. Cory Bush selling out is how you know that Democratic Party takeover shit is never happening. That's when I'm like, it's Cory Bush selling out. You are, and I know it's weird to hear this, guys, now, but I live in Missouri. Trust me. This is my backyard. Ferguson, I follow very closely. I knew who Cory Bush was way before she was elected, which is why when I was a Bernie Crat shit lib, I was very excited when Cory Bush won, because anyone in the streets of Missouri knew who she was. She was a legitimate activist, legitimate working class activist who had the bona fide as anyone else did in the movement. And the reason why I say this is if they was able to flip Cory Bush, they are flipping everybody. You know this thing where people say, oh, if only we got the perfect person in? Nah. If they flip Cory Bush, the Democratic Party is flipping everyone. You understand? That way, all right, it's not going to happen. We need a new strategy because they can flip her too. They flipping everybody. But anyway, that's my point. You guys see, this is the meltdown. And my absolute last. Go ahead. Hold
on, Nick. Let me respond to this because Bad Cookies is a troll. Since you like to be behind a keyboard, let me go ahead and respond to this. Fabby used to blind herself to all the flags of Dr. West when she was pushing him as a candidate. She even defended Peter Dow as people can change you guys. She's doing it again for Jill Stein. So first of all, none of us on this show have endorsed any candidate. You have not seen an endorsement come from RBN for any candidate. We interviewed Dr. West. We've interviewed Jill Stein. We've interviewed, there was another one too. Oh, Dr. Shiva. But none of us have given an endorsement for any candidate.
Oh.
And another thing I want to say, since you like to type your ass behind a keyboard, let me be very clear here.
8496.
You always come into shows complaining about what is wrong and what bothers you, but you never show up with any solutions.
Also, Bad Cookies, I start taking them seriously because what they do, they try to divide RBN. I see this all the time. They watch this. They're not activists. They're not engaged in the struggle. So they view YouTube as entertainment. They view us as like characters in like a reality show. And I know Bad Cookies have done this forever. They do this thing where they try to divide RBN members, try to rate. Oh, I think this RBN member better than the other one. It's like this is not a fucking fictional reality show. You're unserious. This is a person who just leave comments and they just view this as a reality show. They unattached. Like we're not real people living real lives. And then you don't even care if he got this wrong because we said many times before, I'm not endorsing. I was asked by Jill Stein campaign to endorse, and I said politely as an independent journalist, I can't endorse people. That's something I'm gonna say before. So it's inaccurate, and there are these people. I warned you guys. There are these people who don't give a fuck about the struggle, who don't give a fuck about the movement. They just here to. This is just entertainment. They just at home playing video games, and this is just fucking something to watch in the South. You know what I'm saying? And we understand.
And you know what really
don't
pisses me
never
off?
see you. By the way, don't never see you out in the street doing a goddamn thing. All you do is come into people's shows and troll, and you be in everybody's shows. You come over to RBN, we say one thing. You go over to another show and say something else. You have like get on with your life, man. Like, well, what is your problem?
The problem that they had with they didn't want me. They wanted me and Nick to yell at some old white woman. they wanted Jimmy Dore type of interview when we can talk about solutions, you know. And we talked about solutions. We talked about reparations, and you know, it was multiple trolls during that Jill Stein live, and it was some people that I recognized, and it really turned me off. Because these people, they come in and act like, okay, yeah, we're with you guys. But then when we're not propping up the people who they want to prop up, like RFK, if we start talking in praise of RFK, I guarantee Bad Cookies will have no problem with it. But if we talk about RFK and his problem with Israel, his sellout to AIPAC, or him just selling out the black community, saying no reparations at all, like they're gonna have a problem with that.
Listen, this dude used to come onto my call-in show, which I have all of my call-in episodes backed up and recorded. So they used to come onto my call-in show. Act like nothing was wrong, but then we'll go into live chats and say the exact opposite. A fucking troll.
I'm not illustrate your point, Snabby, and illustrate your point, Rome, and to show you guys how unserious that person is and these kind of commenters. When me and Rome had our interview with Dr. Jill Stein, you had Bad Cookies. You had these people that said, why didn't you guys ask Dr. Jill Stein about Jimmy Dore? we have no, seriously, this is what people said. People say in the chat, they're like, Nick, why are you guys avoiding Jimmy Dore? Why don't you ask Dr. Jill Stein? Why don't he go on Jimmy Dore's show? That's what people in the comments were saying. So we have a presidential candidate on, and we talking about Ukraine, we talking about Gaza, we talking about organizing, but instead of that, there was people in the chat that wanted us to talk about why Dr. Jill Stein not going on Jimmy Dore's show instead of Gaza, instead of Ukraine. And that's people like Bad Cookies. These same people that just want drama. They just want all this. And it's stupid and it's unserious to me. I don't take them seriously. I'm just so busy. I'm busy releasing banger after banger, educating the working class, banger after banger, exposing the government. I'm not here leaving YouTube comments because I'm mad at someone for not asking a question about someone going on a podcast. That's what. Go ahead, look at the comments of that show and look at the live comments. You know, people like, hey, Dr. Jill Stein about Jimmy Dore. This is all I care about. I'm a YouTube commenter.
We got multiple genocides. We got multiple genocides going on. We asked about Congo. We asked about all this shit. Go back and watch that interview after this shit ends. But it's so much to talk about right now, you know. And I understand if Dr. Jill Stein fucks up and she says some off the chain, we're gonna get in her ass about it, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be on her head about it, of course. But to sit here and just be like it's so many solutions that we have to, you know, figure out. And as a non-voter, I'm not even a voter. I speak for the non-voters of this channel and the people in this in the chat that aren't voting, even though they have a third-party option. I'm just showing them, look, you have an option. You know, like, if you want to vote, if there was a vote that you was going to cast, it's not about who you're voting for. It's about the platform. It's about, you know what I'm saying, what they are about. So we laid out everything. Black people was trolling. What about reparations? So we start to talk about reparations. Everybody got a joke. Everybody got a poke, right? But we laid down the platform like how we supposed to. We talked to her with grace. She talked to us with grace. And that's what it's all supposed to be about. We are building mutual power amongst each other, and we're going to grow. We're going to be here forever. We're going to be here forever. And all this back and forth bullshit don't do nothing but kills movement.
Yeah. And not only that too, but I do feel like people is too much focused on like personalities instead of the issues that we need to be focused on. But we have been asked to give endorsements and we have not endorsed any candidate. So, but people are like, oh my God, you talked to this person. Oh my God, you spoke to that person. We are not an echo chamber. RBN is not an echo chamber. You hear people that come onto this channel that agree with us, and there's people that come on that we disagree with. If you want an echo chamber, then maybe this ain't the place for you. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So let's go on to the next subject that we have. So one of the things we're going to talk about, we are going to be going to the coup in Bolivia that was stopped as of yesterday. I think this was one of the biggest stories that actually happened in the last 24 hours. Sabs, this is a story that you want to tackle, and I am very anxious to hear what you got to say about this.
So this attempted coup in Bolivia wrapped up very quick. As soon as it started, it was pretty much over. So I want to give a shout out to Wyatt Reed, because I think he was the first one that I saw on Twitter bring this out, because he was on it. He was on it yesterday. Let me go ahead and share audio system. So I saw this tweet here from Wyatt Reed. He said, a coup underway. A group of military police has exited the presidential palace. Bolivia's chief of staff can be seen locking the doors behind them and ordering them braced with furniture. No comment to the press. Tense negotiations clearly taking place. So I want to show this video here from Wyatt Reed.
Se abren las puertas del Palacio Quemado. Ministro, ¿qué es lo que está ocurriendo? La población necesita una explicación, ministro. Vemos también al comandante de la policía. Y ahora, han retomado.
La policía de las fuerzas, bueno, del Palacio Quemado. Coronel, por favor.
General Álvarez.
Señor ministro, unas pequeñas palabras para toda la población boliviana. Ministro, hay incertidumbre, por favor, ministro. Señor ministro, el Estado ha sido sobrepasado por la policía militar. Ministro, señor ministro, unas pequeñas palabras para todos los bolivianos. ¿Qué le dice al país, ministro?
Ministro, el país necesita una explicación, ministro.
José Zúñiga, este acto de
Ahí está, están apetrechándose con un mueble, un escritorio. Ahí está.
Se encuentran atrincherados al interior de Casa Grande, Palacio Quemado, luego de que la policía militar y el ejército ingresaron.
El ministro de Gobierno está ordenando a que la gente pueda ingresar hasta este sector en realidad.
Okay, so that was part of the video there from Wyatt Reed, where you could see they were trying to lock the doors behind them. So I want to get into a little bit more detail here. It says Bolivian general after apparent failed coup attempt as government faces new crisis. So you can see here, this is the Bolivian general that was arrested. Like I said, this happened very quickly yesterday. And I want to read this part here. It says, led by a top general vowing to restore democracy. You guys notice that same phrase, restore democracy. Armored vehicles rammed the doors of Bolivia's government palace Wednesday in what the president called a coup attempt, then quickly retreated. The latest crisis in South America country facing a political battle and an economic crisis. Within hours, the nation of 12 million people saw a rapidly moving scenario in which the troops seemed to take control of the government of President Luis Arce, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He vowed to stand firm and named a new army commander who immediately ordered the troops to stand down. So that quickly, when all this was happening, he went ahead and already named a new army commander. And then it says soon the soldiers pulled back, along with the line of military vehicles, ending the rebellion after just 3 hours. Hundreds of Arce's supporters then rushed the square outside the palace, waving Bolivian flags, singing the national anthem, and cheering. The soldiers' retreat was followed by the arrest of Army Chief General Juan Zuniga after the Attorney General opened an investigation. And then I want to show you what Z Squirrel posted. By the way, if you guys aren't following this account on Twitter, please follow this account. They don't follow anybody back, but follow this account. It's at Z Squirrel. It says there's a coup attempt ongoing in Bolivia right now, once again led by far-right fascist forces, of course, with ties to the CIA. Don't be surprised if the Mossad is also involved, as they are deeply embedded in fascist far-right movements across the world, and particularly in South and Central America. So I'm going to show you a quick little video about that to show you how the CIA has been doing this for years. And they shared this article here by the Times of Israel. It says, Israeli diplomats meet with Bolivian leader for the first time since ties restored. That was February 2020. And you can see the picture there. And then there's another one here. Bolivia de facto government reestablishes diplomatic ties with Israel. So I wanted to show you that. And then to prove a point, because this happens with other countries in South America as well, I want to show you this quick video. Look at all the South American countries that have had governments overthrown by the CIA. And then I want to pass it to you guys. Check this out.
Here's every South American country which has had its government overthrown by the CIA since 1947. Costa Rica in 1948, Guatemala 1954, El Salvador 1979, Nicaragua 1981, Panama 1989, Paraguay 1954, Brazil 1964, Peru 1968, Chile 1973, Uruguay 1973, Argentina 1976, and Venezuela in 2002.
So I'm gonna pass it to you guys.
But according to Anna Kasparian, the CIA, they don't do evil stuff no more, Stabby. Don't you know TYT said that the CIA reformed themselves? As you see, coup attempt after coup attempt. Unless you guys want to chime in, because I have obviously a lot to say about this. Like, I've been following this and the struggle in Bolivia very closely. But I'll start with this before I pass to the panel. You guys understand, with these coup attempts and what we're seeing, it's a long-term pattern of CIA behavior, and it represents the dynamic in South American and Central American politics. Now, I'm gonna show you guys this video. Hopefully you didn't have this. I hope I'm not getting in front of you here, Savvy, because I want to show you the coup leader. And this is very based and very hilarious. Big shout out to my homies at the hotspot that you have the Bolivian coup leader that is now being put on full display, being shown as a traitorous Western puppet piece of shit that he is. And not only language, so essentially they're saying that we never allow this to happen again, and they want to show you the face of the person who betrayed them. And what do you guys notice? And now I'm trying to explain to you guys the dynamics of South American and Central American politics. What do you guys notice about this person? They're European. Yeah. And this is similar with Venezuela and the opposition party that teamed up with the CIA to overthrow Nicolas Maduro. So what is the history of the United States launching coup attempts? How are they able to get it done? They reach out to the most far-right constituency that often European, often class loyal to the capitalist class in the West, and they get them to betray their people. Because how do you get people to support a coup? You must get the most far-right extremes in your society, the kind of people that will betray your people, the kind of people that are hardcore anti-socialists. So who are the people who support Nicolas Maduro, for example? It's the indigenous Venezuelans. Who are the people who support the Bolivian regime? It's the large amount of indigenous population. They put the exact. I mean, I read about this before. In the ethnic makeup of Bolivia, just like America, they have like a very small Afro-Bolivian population, but a lot of it is native South American. You have a lot of mixed Native Americans, so it's a very large native country. But also among those are people with European ancestry. And I'm bringing this up for a reason. I know a lot of people don't want to focus on skin color, but it's a common theme in South America where you have the white, far-right, capitalist class that teams with the CIA to overthrow the government that indigenous people, Afro-Brazilians, for example, Afro-Venezuelans, indigenous populations, the black and brown people are and their leaders are often victims of far-right coups that's supported by white European occupiers of that country.
And
that's a
oftentimes,
different dynamic. Go ahead, Sabby. Go ahead, Sabby. I'm done. Go ahead.
oftentimes too, they tend to target governments in South America that are not heavily pro-Israel. That's another thing too. So, and you'll see that with or you've probably seen this before in the past. I have another thing here about with Hugo Chavez, how he called out the U.S. government and Zionism, how they try to do these coup attempts.
And Sabby, I'm just showing you the two things I had. And this is Nicolas Maduro, who is celebrating the defeat of the fascist coup, because we know Nicolas Maduro defeated the CIA coup that Trump attempted. You had the United States that were trying to overthrow Nicolas Maduro. Nicolas Maduro defeated that coup attempt, and the West never forgave him for it, including Bernie Sanders. You guys know Bernie Sanders called Nicolas Maduro a tyrant? Wow. Nicolas Maduro is a tyrant who imprisons political opponents. You mean the people who team with the CIA to violently overthrow our government? What would happen? What would happen if a black radical organization teamed up with Russia, with the KGB, with Chinese Secret Service, and staged an armed insurrection against the president? What would happen to those people, my friends?
Oh,
but Bernie Sanders and the progressive social democrat left, they hate Nicolas Maduro. AOC supported Juan Guaido. She supported the coup in Venezuela. Why? Because just like the Putin derangement syndrome, they believe everything said about the enemies of the military-industrial complex. That's all I have for now. I got a lot to say on this topic, but Sabby, I'll let you continue. It's a very interesting story.
Yeah, just to show you guys a point, also from Z Squirrel said this as well too. Again, I don't know who this person is, but they're on it. They are usually on it. I'm not going to play the video because it's not in English, but it's also said here as well. It says, let me make this bigger. Hugo Chavez spoke brilliantly, about the U.S. and Zionist imperialist attempts to destroy Venezuela and other socialist movements across Latin America for daring to oppose the empire dictates. And they're actually retweeting a previous post they had from 2023. Hugo Chavez was one of the staunchest supporters of Palestinian liberation among world leaders and became a widely revered figure in Palestine for that reason. When he passed, they mourned him with official commemorations. The West, of course, had to destroy him and his nation. So there's a connection. This is why I wanted people to see there is still that connection between imperialism, Zionism, and these coups that are usually backed and led by the CIA. So this has been going on for years.
That's why we should never allow, and JB, I'll pass to you. I know you want to chime in. That's why we should never allow these Zionist scumbags to gaslight us. You know how the Zionist scumbags are trying to gaslight us and trying to pretend that the students who are protesting against Israel, there's something wrong with them and they're uniquely anti-Semitic. And this is what Americans need to understand. The world has been behind Palestine. It's the United States and the UK and Germany that's behind. The global population has been seen through the Zionist state of Israel, including many of these South American leaders who paved the way. Lula famously, this is what made me first like Lula. He's famously been an aggressive supporter of the Palestinian people. The same with AMLO. It's very common, actually. But whenever you see these progressive accept Palestine people, the Bernie Sanders, they're a rarity. The United States West is uniquely awful, where you consider it good if you say you believe that Palestinian lives matter. Oh, you can kill them, but we think it matters, though. Yeah. But Palestinian liberation movements is extremely popular around the world. That's the point. Go ahead, JB.
One of the things I want to direct people's attention to is you got to remember that the CIA is a tool of corporations within the imperial core. And they're a tool that's being used in order to take over countries just for their resources. Always go back to the money and the resources whenever you think about empire and nations and what they do in order to take over other countries like the United States. So I want to share this because this was a mask off moment that was passed off as a jokey joke, but Elon Musk. Hang on. Let's go back to this beautiful thing. Wyatt Reed, thank you so very much for this. Elon Musk says another government stimulus package is not in the best interest of the people, in my opinion. Armani says, you know what wasn't in the best interest of the people? The U.S. government organizing a coup against Evo Morales in Bolivia so you could obtain the lithium there. Elon Musk famously said, we'll coup whoever we want, deal with it.
And you mentioned JB how, sorry JB, but you mentioned how Elon and then was pretending that this was a joke. This shit is not a joke, bro. No one can tell me that this is a joke. And if it is a joke, and I engage in humor in the same way, where you joke and the catch line is essentially it's funny because there's a layer of truth behind it. You know, that kind of comedy. It's funny because it's true. That's Elon Musk engaging in the it's funny because it's true kind of comedy. Because who would find that funny? Only the ruling class who would joke about such things. When told about the coup in Bolivia, he's like, oh, we coup whoever you want. That's how they joke. That's how the ruling class joke. It's one of those, it's funny because it's true moments. You know what I mean? Yeah, he may or may not be joking. I don't think he was. But even if he was, it's still the statement still stands that Elon Musk, the supporter of apartheid, the person who has the most contracts with the military industrial complex, I think anyone else. I think anyone else. Let me I'll be careful with that statement, but he has contracts in the military industrial complex. He's a supporter of apartheid, so of course he supports coup. But go ahead, Sabi. I know you want to chime in. Go ahead.
Oh, another thing I was going to say too, that just, again, it shows you the connection between billionaires and politicians in the U.S. government just all together, because Elon Musk is a billionaire. So I didn't take that as a joke at all. I was like, no, you mean that. You mean that because the politicians are in your pocket. You mean that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rome.
Oh, no. I won't say nothing about this one.
All right. So if that's going to be it, then just everybody once again, go ahead and give the video a like. That pushes us out into the algorithm to inform more people. Thank you so very much. We're going to get into the chat really quick. First off, I'm going to start
read
off
this one, JB. Since we get in chat, I saw this just pop up because it's a good comment. Elon has fooled 75% of the population. Hears that he's brilliant. I will never understand that. Not that it isn't easy here that most brainwashed, propagandized, uninformed colonizers on Earth. Yeah, it's funny because among the Elon fans, they do this thing where they pretend he's the modern age Tony Stark. It's so cringe. I'm a Marvel fan, so I hate when I hear that, because one thing about Tony Stark is that he's very fucking smart. If you read the comics, right? Elon Musk, I'm sure he may be decent in engineering. I've seen engineers dispute that, but that's not my specialty. There's such things called known as idiot savants. So I'm sure that Elon Musk may be brilliant when it comes to engineering and that kind of stuff, marketing. But I heard him talk about politics, and literally 30 seconds in, I knew that we was dealing with a moron. For example, I'll give you just one example of something he said. Something he said that a lot of these dumb people believe that was enlightened. He said, I used to support the Democratic Party. In fact, I used to be a Barack Obama voter. Then Joe Biden and Democratic Party shifted to the left. This is shit that he says. He believed that Jim Crow Joe somehow took the Democratic Party and turned it into a socialist party. So you're either dealing with dumb or bad faith. I think it's a combination of both. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So let's go to the chat first. I want to go to Rockfin first, because we do have a tip on Rockfin. We're going to go there. Thank you for the tip on Rockfin. Roger Meadows, he says, BLM wasted time getting behind politicians. Instead of pushing CBI amendments to abolish qualified immunity and transfer prosecution of officers away from local district attorneys to special independent prosecutors who have no formal relationship with law enforcement within state attorney general's office, who is chosen by the family or community who has been harmed. Thank you very much for that, Roger Meadows. Let's get into the rest of the chat. So thank you so very much to Aaron. Says DNC and GOP are corporations meant to control public funds and have checks to remove people, own more people in power. We can't vote our way out. Get them, savvy. Thank you very much. C. Nichelle says, I'm in Georgia. Stein isn't on the ballot, unfortunately. Ooh, yikes.
Democracy for your ass.
Yeah.
Yep. Democrats are saving democracy by trying to make it as hard as possible for third-party candidates to get on the ballot.
Smells like what happened to Matthew Ho in North
Or
And
Carolina.
they said Nicolas Maduro, and Bernie Sanders believed this with his chest. Bernie Sanders believed that Nicolas Maduro is a tyrant and a dictator. He believes that Putin is a tyrant and a dictator. You guys know that there were 6 political parties running in Venezuela? 6. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I think there were 4 in Russia. But don't quote me on that one. But I know there were 6 in Venezuela. So as they call Venezuela a dictatorship, they got more options. They just can't wrap their mind around a popular leader because they will never be popular. They don't understand that Venezuelan people see the United States sanction regime going after Venezuela and Nicolas Maduro. And I'm gonna spare you guys because I explained this before, because I explained Nicolas Maduro did a great job in preventing the overthrow of his country, and his people appreciate that, even if they're going through hard times, because they understand who's responsible for that. So the United States and Bernie Sanders can't even wrap their mind around a popular leader, so they just assume he's a dictator, just like with Putin.
No.
But go ahead, JB.
Nick, I'm gonna push back a little bit because I think they can wrap their mind around it. It's just they don't want to because they're a bunch of fools. Why I say that? Because who got 4 terms as president of the United States back then in this country? It was FDR. So they can wrap their minds around it. They're just anti-communist type of mindset where it's like anything that is really good for the people, it doesn't serve their masters. So that's the only slight pushback I'll say is they can wrap their minds around it.
Yeah, that's fair, and people need to understand for the audience members who don't get it. In North Korea, our empire killed 2 million of those people.
Ooh, yeah.
Murdered them in the same way we see Gaza they did to the Koreans. So when you have that happen to your people, and then the West, after they slaughter millions of people, then throw sanctions on you, of course they're going to support the family they see leading the country, fighting against the evil. The West creates an us versus them mentality, which only boosts the leaders they hate. So when the Russian people see that Russia is under attack by NATO in the West, who don't see Russia equal, they see Putin as the fighter that is defending their people against the evil that want to destroy their society. That's why they rallied by Maduro. That's why the North Korean people love. And once again, I cannot wait to have Aaron Bartlett. I was just on a show. We talked about North Korea for like 45 minutes because she actually was there. She went to North Korea. Like, and when you talk to North Koreans, they went through so much shit over the last few decades. But because of what the empire did, they see the Kim family, they see them fighting against the empire without wavering. Meanwhile, African leaders are selling them out. We gotta talk about Ruto. President Ruto selling his people out. African leaders selling their people out left and right. Meanwhile, the Kim family, they won't do it. So the North Korean people, that make them admire them even more. Yeah, all the public service programs make them admire them even more. Why do Russia love Putin so much? I don't know, maybe because Russia got the policies that Dr. Cornel West and Bernie Sanders are spending their time fighting for. They hate Russia, but they got all the policies that they fight for in Russia.
I mean, there's a reason why he has a strong approval rating. Whether you like Russia or Vladimir Putin or not, there's a reason why he has a strong approval rating. Look at the approval ratings of our presidents. So, I mean, there's a reason why.
Yeah, I don't have healthcare. You guys know that? My healthcare strategy is to hit the bag every day, drink some tea, eat some vegetables, and pray to God. So you guys realize if I was in Russia, I know I talked to Fiorella Isabel about this before I had on my show. If I was in Russia, I would have government-sponsored healthcare.
Yep.
You know, the thing that Bernie Sanders is trying to fight for in this country, Dr. Cornel West thinks Putin is a tyrant. He hates Putin. Meanwhile, Putin is giving their people the stuff that you're fighting for in America. You know they talking about abortion rights. You know who can have abortion? People in Russia. I can't. No one in Missouri can. You have Bernie cracks who fight for paid maternity leave. You want to know who have paid maternity leave? Russia. And you wonder why people are like, why do people like Putin? Because Putin gives their people paid maternity leave, you idiots. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, it's another thing too. Like Nico was saying this about Brazil, like how much cheaper it was to have a baby in Brazil compared to the United States. You know, like why they did not have his son in the United States, because you are hit with like a huge hospital bill. But not only that, but I mean, it's just that when you take care of your people will take care of you.
As simple as that.
Yep.
Who would talk?
So, did you want to add anything before I move on, Room?
Nope. I'm ready to move on.
All right. All right, cool. So let's go to the next one. La Senora says he doesn't look European. He looks mestizo, Nick.
I think they let me that's fair enough. I'm not gonna pretend to be expert. They have, and look, and this is what I got. Let me show you guys what I read as a quick little fact check preparing for this. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they consider people, the mestizos you're talking about, are people with European ancestry. Once again, I'm not pretending to be expert. I just only know what I read. So the mestizos you're talking about are people who come from Europe. That's what I'm talking about. The people with European ancestry. But correct me if I'm wrong. I appreciate the correction. But that's what I got it from. So even if you're right, he comes from European ancestry. But go ahead, JB.
Okay. The next one is from Mean Boy. Says, proud Moldovan, following your channel. Incredible work, RBN. Keep at it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Just checking.
Damn, Moldova. I don't think we ever had someone from Moldova in the chat.
Welcome. Let me see. We got a couple more super chats. Want to make sure I get to these before we move on. Rome, we're going to be going to your story next. These didn't get started, so I got to make sure I get those too. And I think. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just these weren't started, so I'm going to make sure I don't skip over them. I think we're pretty good so far. I got. Okay, cool. All right, next one is here. So Lorez, thank you so much. Says, thumbs up for seeing y'all four. Thank you for staying true. Thank you so very much, Lorez.
I'll be right back.
Justin B says, Jill is still working on ballot access in many states still, including Georgia. Now is not the time to back off on ballot access for an anti-genocide choice in this election. Jill is already on the ballot in enough states to win. Thank you so very much for that.
She's on enough. I think it's 20. Last I checked, I think it's 22 states. So she's on enough states to get to 270, which is why, according to the CNN rules, she still should have been a part of the debate.
Yeah, good point. Lorez, thank you very much for this. Says, sup RBN, listening in. Another U.S. coup, try and sky is blue. Thank you so very much. All right. Charlie Mack says, the Fab Four all together, love to see it. Thank you so very much, Charlie Mack, all dressed in black.
Charlie,
that's all you do. Where?
He's part of the RBN Boston chapter. I don't know if you guys. Yeah.
All right. Cool beans, Shelly Bean. All right. So let's get it. Hang on. Okay. I'm just making sure I got to everybody. Oh, I think we got another super chat. Hang on. Just want to make sure. So got a couple more. And then after these last couple, then we have to move on because we have a hard stop at 7. Okay. So the next one is DJ Jonetti says, they hate Maduro because of his scary mustache. Did you know Nicolas Maduro was a bus driver before he got elected?
Yeah, I found out some of this stuff from, I don't know if you guys haven't interviewed Anya. You should definitely interview Anya because she wrote a book about, it's called Corporate Coup, about the coup in Venezuela. I think it was just published. When I spoke to her, it was before it was published. But I think it's cool to talk to her because she knows a lot about that, like Maduro and all that stuff.
All right. Thank you so much. Dwayne coming in saying Americans don't even know why they're supposed to hate Russia, and they do anyway. Brainwashing. Absolutely.
It's Holly weird. It's Holly weird.
It is Holly weird.
Entertainment industry, a lot of the movies that depict Russia, they do so in such a way that makes Russia look out to be like this cold, snowy place where everyone has no emotion or everyone's a part of the Russian mob. I'm serious. Think about Stranger Things, like all the different shows and stuff that you watch, like Rocky IV, they make Russia out to be that way.
On that point, as a Marvel nerd, as a comic book fan, I can tell you how true that is because and I will openly admit that as someone who got a sinful, my big guilty sin is Marvel comics. I've always been a big comic book reader, and you can tell who the Empire hates based on who the villains are. So during the 70s, It was a big bag of Russian enemies. They was unapologetically pushing Cold War propaganda.
Yep.
And then in the 2000s, they literally rewrote Iron Man's origin story. They changed Iron Man's origin story, and all of a sudden he was captured by terrorists during the War on Terror. Very coincidental, right? And I'm caught up. I'm reading around the 2000. I'm at like 2021 storylines right now. You want to know who's the bad guy again? Now all of a sudden you start seeing Russian bad guys again. So it's my guilty sin. I admit it because I know, like, man, this shit is such fucking propaganda. But man, we all got our guilty vices, right? Because I see it. I be reading this shit like, God damn, that's propaganda. They also do this thing in Marvel and in comics all the time where they paint revolutionary movements as the bad guy. They will have a bad guy who leading a revolutionary movement against a government entity. Like, I'll give you an example. It will be like a bad guy who organized against S.H.I.E.L.D. It'll be someone like, oh man, S.H.I.E.L.D. is responsible for all these atrocities. They do all this evil, and I want to rebel against them. But I'm evil too, and I'm gonna commit atrocities because they want to paint the picture that people who push revolution against systems are inherently bad. So it wasn't getting my guilty vibes, but I read it all the time. And that's like Black Panther. You know the guy, what's his name? I forgot his name. The main villain of Black Panther. He was like, I want to overthrow the white supremacist system, and of course he had to be an asshole because that's the point. It's subtle propaganda to get people to hate revolutionaries. Once again, I'm a nerd, guys. But anyway, Fab, I think you want to chime in.
I was going to say, I think the furthest they went with Marvel as far as being somewhat radical was X-Men, because Stan Lee said that Professor and Magneto, they were supposed to represent Dr. King and Malcolm X and what was kind of going on with the civil rights movement at that time. But I think that's the furthest they went.
Yeah, and to point out your point, Nick, the last Black Panthers movie, they went and helped colonize a whole, some Latinos.
Yeah. And I love in X-Men is one of the few examples. I'm glad he brought up Sabby of Marvel actually being based, because I'm glad in the newest X-Men animated show, which is, by the way, I love X-Men. I grew up on it. They actually acknowledged that Magneto was right. I was like, man, what? If the nerds among me know what I'm talking about, because the whole thing was Charles Xavier advocated for peaceful integration to society. We'd be nice to them. They will show admiration for us. But if we know history, we know that never worked. So the Magneto side was, hey man, we need to have self-independence, not going on aggressive, but we need to govern ourselves. That was all about that. What Magneto thing was. So of course, in the early days, they made Magneto goofy and evil. But modern writers actually, maybe over the last 2 decades, they actually got Magneto character much more sophisticated, because in the early days he was very just, oh, I'm a revolution, I'm gonna kill everyone, fuck this. Now he's much more nuanced, Malcolm X style. The original, they give him much more respect to the original message for sure. But anyway, go ahead, JB.
It was influenced because one of the head writers is Bo DeMeo, and Bo DeMeo he plays for my team, and he's also Black, and he also, something tells me there's a little bit of a revolutionary undercurrent in his belief system. But
yeah, and Black people fuck with X-Men, bro, but just because the theme alone, bro, seeing the mutants fight against the system, bro, we fuck with that shit. I don't care what anyone say. But anyway, go ahead, JP.
All right, so we're going to go to our next story. So this is going to be about William Ruto basically is getting the no from Kenyans. And Rome, you're going to be covering this story. What is going on in Kenya, and why are the Kenyan people based?
I'm gonna keep this one. I'm gonna try to keep this one as short as possible because I know we ain't got that much time. But it's just the reflection of politicians know what they are doing. And they know that the people are pissed off. And this is why you see cop cities are being built here. They are building their bunkers here. They are trying to prepare themselves better, because what's going down in Kenya today or yesterday can go down here in America today. And I'm gonna show a couple of clips real quick. I'm gonna play this from another politician that was giving a speech. He was warning on their floors that we might be met with fire. So just hold on, let me make sure.
President of Burkina Faso had the kind of anger we have caused in this country. I dread, God forbid, is the kind of anger that made the citizens of Burkina Faso to burn down parliaments. And when the president of Burkina Faso, that was 3 years ago, I'm not talking about prehistory. When the president of Burkina Faso heard the parliament is in flames, he fled. His name is Blaise Compaoré. That's how he was voted out of office, by fire.
And it's just so beautiful to see, because I want to share, I want to find something that's more appropriate for this. So we want to get kicked off because I got so much stuff bookmarked, and it's just, hold on, let me see, 1, 2, okay, I think I can play this one. When no, I can't. Damn it! All right, hold on, give me a second. I don't want to get kicked off. But when he said we will be met by fire, this was foreseeing, it was foreshadowing, however the fuck you want to put it. And they was met by fire, and the people went out and not only held up signs, they made these people get the fuck out of there. They're like, hold on, here we go. I can play this for sure.
Make sure you're sharing your screen if you.
Yep. I just don't want to share it while
Yeah, I got you.
Something wild is going on. I'm sorry, you guys.
Ain't good.
But as you get that ready, speaking of sellout leaders, I was just talking about how the Russian people admire Putin and the North Korean people admire Kim for fighting the Kim dynasty, for fighting the Western-backed regime. There is a scourge of African leaders selling out, and President Ruto is the best example of this, because when President Ruto was first elected in Kenya, and I remember hearing about this at the time, there was actually a lot of excitement in the African continent, because President Ruto, you talk about how important it is to flex Africa's sovereignty. He used to give these speeches. I don't know if you guys know, President Ruto used to give these speeches criticizing African leaders for being summoned like puppets, being summoned like children to Europe. For example, they just had a South Korean conference. They had a South Korean African conference. What? A South Korean African conference? Let me ask you guys a question. When have there ever been a European Kenya conference where European leaders go to Kenya to meet at Kenya to talk about Africa? No, it never happens. They always do this thing where we're going to have an Africa summit in Atlanta where all the African leaders, then like children, then abandon Africa to go to meet a summit in another continent to talk to leaders about their continent. It's actually very humiliating. They had these European African conferences. Imagine if there was a North American conference in South Africa. That shit happens all the time because Western governments really don't respect African leaders. And it's been a long-term thing. So President Ruto had a speech where he called this out, where he said that African leaders need to stop being summoned like children, need to stop following the direction of the West. And he got elected on this premise. You want to know the first thing this motherfucker did? They had an African summit in Italy. He got summoned like a school child. The same thing he rallied against. He got summoned like a school child. The same thing. So that was a sign of thing to come. It was like, wait, I thought you was against African leaders being summoned to Europe like children. And that's the first thing he did. And now, I know you got this ready to play.
Yeah.
I was just stalling time as you got ready. The last thing I'm gonna read on my little my spiel, this show you the sellout of Ruto. Ruto got a non-NATO ally status because of his willingness to get Kenyan police officers killed in Haiti, and also because his willingness is to continue to sell out his people to the IMF. So why are they having these protests? It'd be last thing I'll say. I'll pass to you, Ron. Why are they having these protests in the first place? Because the IMF and the World Bank demanded that Kenya implement austerity to handle their debt, or they will pull funding. So Ruto is doing the bidding of the IMF, which is why their government was trying their best to put this tax reform in, which led the people to hit the streets. Now, Rome, I'll pass it to you. I was just filling time as you got ready, but I'll pass it to you.
This is why I say what makes a change is us. What makes a change is us. All of the protests, and I love to see the protests. And once again, but you guys need to take it further. You have to be willing to give it your all if you want to see something change, because they don't see you as a human. When you die and your family gets wiped out, let's say your neighborhood get wiped out, they're gonna announce you as 200 and something people got killed during this, and that. They see you as a number. If you want to be known as a human, if you want your voice heard, you have to do what the people of Kenya has been doing. And if they can stand up to the IMF, we can stand up to the CIA. We can stand up to the FBI. We can make our voices heard.
In Rome,
these people done. And
in Rome, to your point, Rome, I just want to back up your point. You guys know that they had protesters that was murdered.
Yes,
they was slaughtered by the military that President Ruto ordered against his own people. President Ruto ordered the military against his own people to defend the IMF. And so they did that to intimidate the protesters. You want to know what they said, Rome, in response? The protesters sent out a message that said, "We'll see you Thursday," because that was the next day on the calendar. The message was, and I'm saying this to back you up, Rome, the Kenyan military was killing protesters, and they still didn't back down. So I don't want to hear shit from the West. And you're not be, oh, it's too hard. No, they're not backing down. To your point, Rome, we should never back down. And that's our job to put our bodies on the line. As a man, we need to put our bodies on the line in order to make things better, right? But go ahead, Rome.
Yeah, like I just want to play a couple of clips. They real short, but shit had to burn. Shit had to burn in order to rebuild, you know. And it's not even. I'm sorry, my shit fucking up.
It just muted, but I see it playing.
I wanted to mute it because it's
yeah.
Like people throwing canisters and you see shit on fire, motherfuckers rushing. Like you have people on the ground out here. Let's see if it'll let me play it. Took over their goddamn streets, and this is where I'm like, I'm so disappointed. Because everybody here seems to know what's coming to them, but they're not willing to organize to stop what's going to happen. We sit here and we bitch about, you know what I'm saying, the police cities, cop city and blah, blah, this and that, blah, blah. But dog, they went on the ground because of raising taxes. They did this shit because of raising taxes, and now they're about to overthrow their fucking president. You know how many times our taxes have been raised? You know how many times they have been giving our money to the highest? What was the last shit? The CARE pack, when they gave the biggest transfer of wealth from the working class to the 1%. That was our time to be out there, just like them.
Exactly.
Wrong.
And you want to know what's... Go ahead, JB.
Well, let me also add this, because this is how people. This is what gets me riled up, especially when you got people typically indicative of people who are social Dems. They'll be like, oh my God, look at what France is doing. France is literally revolting against their government. I'm like, look at Kenya. Like everybody's always pointing to the European countries whenever they revolt against their government. But look at what happened in Kenya. Look what happened in Sri Lanka, right? Look at what these brown countries are also doing against their government. Because the thing is like they have a revolutionary spirit too. It's not just the European countries. And the thing is like, yeah, France still did, they still revolted against their president, but their president's still there, right? Look at what happened in Burkina Faso. Look what happened in Niger. Look what happened in Mali. They literally went against their government and ousted them. They basically sent them packing. So that's the same thing. It's like we still got to look at some of these countries that are outside of Europe that are also doing the damn thing on the ground in order to change their system, to the chagrin of the United States, to the chagrin of the CIA, because they don't actually want these type of governments in power. So I think we need to start giving more credit to a lot of these African countries, a lot of these Asian countries, the South American countries in the global South that are actually doing what we think we're doing when we shall overcome. We got
and you want to know what I like
Kenyan, like we were saying, like Niger has been smacking France on the back of the head like he just got a fresh chili bowl. They've been warming up their hands, smacking the shit out of France, kicking them out of there. And I love how this motherfucker keep trolling. I love you, brother. I hope you black for real. But to sit here and keep trolling that shit, nigga, you don't know, and this is why I don't take advice from Americans, because we don't know too much about foreign policy. So you can't sit here and just say these people not this, these people not that, or it's too late for this, it's too late for that, because it's never too late. And if we would say, if anything was too late, then why are we still fighting for reparations 400 years from our own country that we built up? Nothing is ever too late. It's never too late to smack these motherfuckers upside their head. So and get in control of your communities, your country, wherever the fuck it may be. Throw a coup if you may like it, but get control of your people, get control of your community, and do what the leaders of Nigeria are doing. Do what the leaders of South America is doing. Lead your people. Be strong. Be a revolutionary. Be willing to give it your all, because they are willing to take it all. And there's people who recognize this, that revolutionary spirit that we were born with. We weren't taught this. We were born with this, and leaders will always outshine. You can have a leader in the middle of a million motherfuckers. They will still know where to go because he always will lead. And I'm telling you guys, if you like, this shit is so fucking surreal that we are watching an empire fall amongst our eyes. We're watching this shit in our lifetime, and we have to prepare for the shit. And like I said, once things get better for the world, it's going to get worse for us, because we benefit from the tick of white supremacy, whether we are black, white, whatever the fuck it may be. We are in the middle of the empire, and we benefit from all the slavery. We benefit from all the countries that we overthrow, from Africa to South America, even in Europe. We overthrew Ukraine. We benefit from all of it. And once the world starts to heal, we're going to start to get scabs. We're going to start to get cut. But we have to prepare for what's the future. For real.
Yeah, in Kenya, one thing I want to say, and Sabby, I'll pass it right to you. You guys know, you guys see how they're still hitting the streets. I don't know if you guys remember this embarrassing story during the college protest where, goddamn, I forgot what school. It was one of the elite schools that quote unquote negotiated with one of the student encampments, and they said, we promised to have a vote on whether we will continue to fund Israel at the end of the year, meaning they will continue to fund their genocide. And then these spoiled PMCs like, yay, we did it. And then they stopped protesting. They assumed they took the victory. Do you guys know in Kenya, they took the victory even though they got a ridiculous offer that didn't make any sense. You guys know that President Ruto, because of the protest, I'm glad we had a chance to cover this. I was about to talk about this on Friday. Because of the protest, President Ruto scaled back the original tax reforms. So they actually got a tangible victory because they had international pressure. There was international pressure to normalize the situation and stop the riots and stop the violence. So President Ruto, directly because of the pressure of the protest, was forced to give a counteroffer where they rolled back their harsh reform, which means the protesters won. But you want to know what the protesters did in response? They said, fuck you, you roll all of it back or we're not going home. And that's why they hit the streets even harder. They didn't do the same thing that one privileged did. But go ahead, Sabby. I know you want to chime in. Go ahead, Sabby.
Abayame as a Kiwi, he is a contributor for Black Agenda Report. He was warning people a couple of months ago that the United States government was about to send troops from Kenya into Haiti. And I was asking him about this, like, why would they do that? Why would Kenya choose? He said money. The US government is totally funding this. They are paying for these troops in Kenya to invade Haiti. So people have to understand the things that the US government has done to Haiti. And it's not just the US. France has done some things too. But when you look back at the history, Haiti had to pay reparations to France. France never paid reparations to Haiti. It's just like even in the United States, there were some slave masters that got reparations, but descendants of slavery did not get reparations. But the US government has been behind a lot of these things, a lot of these coups, these interventions. A lot of times, if you look back to it, it's all leads back to the West. All leads back to us. And just think about what has happened to people in Haiti. I don't think there's any country that has been more demonized and vilified in the world than Haiti. Haiti is poor because the US government robbed Haiti, because France robbed Haiti. This goes all the way back to Woodrow Wilson. Under Woodrow Wilson's presidency, he sent in the US Marines to seize their businesses, including their banks. This is why Haiti is poor. So a lot of this stuff leads back to the United States government. We can't just let these countries be. We have to put our hand in everything, particularly a country that did have a slave, revolt and rose up.
Mm-hmm. Can I address something really quick? Just want to address this. To Michael, he said, we overthrew Ukraine. Yes, back in 2014, one of the people who was actually instrumental in that was Victoria Nuland. They actually, United States was instrumental in a coup that actually replaced the current president in Ukraine. So yes, the United States actually overthrew Ukraine as well. So that's part of the history. So when Rome actually said we overthrew Ukraine, he was right.
Yeah,
I mean, why would I get on here and lie to you when it's something that we can easily Google? And this is the problem that I have with Americans when it comes to foreign policy. This is why I only listen to like a handful of Americans. I really have to reach out, amongst my fan base, like who live here, who live there. Like when I got people out in Cape Town, Africa, doing certain shit like that, I really need to talk to these people. What is they going through? Because if I hear anything from Americans about the DPRK, they're going to tell me that everybody in the DPRK got Kim Jong-un haircut and nobody can do this over 9 o'clock and nobody can, like, it's just stupid, right? That's why I try not to listen to these Americans, because they have no idea. It's always America first, but their politics are so shallow that they don't understand why shit is happening. They like, we don't like immigrants coming over. Why immigrants coming over here? Oh, we destroyed their homeland. We took all the resources, so they're coming over here. Oh well, like it's just so fucking shallow. And we have so much fucking. It's just so much to learn, and for you to just be like a black and white type of guy or a black and white type of gal, whatever the fuck you is. It just shows how stupid, how propagandized, and how you are afraid to actually step out of your bubble, to pop a bubble, if so, to actually learn different things, because it isn't always about us. It isn't always about us, because dude, we are the empire. We are in the middle of the fucking empire, and if you can't see that, then you're gonna die dumb just like the rest of these niggas. And I don't feel sorry for you. I really don't.
Yeah, and I'm gonna read this headline, but regarding your thing on immigrants, I just really wish people understood the theory of labor value. Even if you're not a Marxist, everyone should understand that. The people who are saying the immigrants are responsible for driving down wages. We know how capitalists make their profits, right? They make it by passing the cost on the consumer and stealing wages. So when people say immigrants are driving wages down, that don't make sense when our companies are making record profits. So there's nothing stopping the companies who are making record profits to pass that on the wages. So what the capitalists do, they use the immigrant they demonize the immigrant to mislead people into thinking that they're the reason why they're driving down their wages, but the only thing that's stopping the wages from being increased is the capitalists, because they don't want to pay towards the employee, because that's how they get profit, by stealing the labor value of the employees and costing the cost onto the consumers. But anyway, let me go ahead, Sabi.
Instead of getting mad at the ruling elite class, they turn the workers against each other. They've done this before. Absolutely. Racially too. If it's not you focusing on immigration and you're mad at the immigrants that are coming here, at one point in time in this country, there were white people that were mad at black people for getting jobs that they said they should have had. So this has happened before. There's always a different scapegoat.
No, they didn't want to do those fucking jobs. Ain't no motherfucking, you know how dumb what racism is and how dumb you have to be racist and see a black person doing a job that been there, that like how they always say, supply and demand, capitalism, the open market. You're telling me a black man had a job that you could have got in the 1950s, the 40s, and they chose a black man over you? I'm not believing.
And plus, a lot of people people don't understand history. You know what I mean? Like, you guys understand that hardcore border enforcement was the result of the Industrial Revolution, right? Like, when you look at Europe in the 1500s and 1600s, there wasn't harsh immigration enforcement. Super hardcore harsh immigration enforcement is a product of the modern age. And they also use this issue, like Sabi said, as a way to get the workers to blame each other and divide each other, which is why we don't push the culture war. We don't fall for that division, there's nothing but class struggle. Demonizing immigrants is not class struggle. You're doing the bidding of the capitalist class. But do we have any other stories? Anyone else want to chime in before? Anything else we had to cover today?
I got my story to cover.
Go ahead, JB.
Mm-hmm. So just to go ahead and like the video. This pushed us out. Thank you so very much. Let's go into the chat just to clear this out and make sure that if you guys have not, please make sure to give the stream a like. So let's start off with the chat on Rockfin. We have another tip on Rockfin. This is from Roger Meadows. Thank you so much. He says, SCOTUS and CIA operate at the behest of corporations. Replace shareholder-owned corporations with collective stakeholder ownership using worker co-ops. Take away what they protect, and we've nullified their effect they have on our lives. Thank you so very much for that, Roger. Let's go into the rest of the chat here. We have Harrison, friend of the show, says, appreciate you guys. Good to see everyone together. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
RBN Roundtable Live is back. It's great to be back. I can't wait to see. I think we're gonna have another one next month. It's gonna be very exciting that this series is returning. That's for sure.
Yep, definitely. Old Crow says, this is what I've been waiting for. A panel with all of you at the same time.
What's poppin'? Old Crow always leave great comments and super chats. We appreciate you.
Yep. This is a RBN Orlando chapter member. Tim Price says there's a clip of a protester taking a rear has canister. Oh, what the tear gas?
Oh, I know what you're
canister.
talking about.
Yeah.
He's talking about the Kenyan protester. Do you guys see the viral video of this Kenyan smoking a fucking tear gas canister like a fucking gangster, like the biggest Chad on the face of the earth? This motherfucker's balls are so heavy.
Yep.
The heaviest balls.
How you gonna
This man, I'm
kill
gonna see if I can find it. Literally the most gangster shit. Because that was in response to the police using tear gas. Them motherfuckers grabbed the tear gas canister and started smoking. I was like, brother, it can't be real. I saw it the first time. I'm like, brother, no way. Here it is. I knew I would find it pretty fast. Here it is. For people who don't know what the fuck we talking about. I saw this shit. I saw it before, and I immediately didn't believe it was real until I saw more people spreading it. Like, bro, what?
You got to shoot that motherfucker.
My mind is confused. I don't get it. Bro, this motherfucker's revolutionary spirit is so strong, it's somehow giving him immunity to poison.
Like, you know how long you have to been fighting and to have your body immune to something like that? That's fucking crazy. That's a war crime that he's smoking. He's smoking a war crime.
I know that is the greatest, that's the biggest Chad. He got the biggest balls in Africa. What a fucking Chad that guy.
We got some of the strongest fighters in Africa. That's why I don't pay no attention to these people. All these motherfuckers who want these fucking wars. Well, oh, I'm not Africa. I'm not there. I'm like,
hey, bro,
fuck up, bro.
You see what Francis Ngannou said? I don't know if you guys know who Francis Ngannou is, the former UFC heavyweight champion. He just had all these big boxing fights. He beat Tyson Fury, got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. He was asked a question about African athletes because Africa took over MMA. There was a period where you had Adesanya, Usman, and you had Ngannou. They were all African champions. And he was asked about the athletes in Africa and the potential for change in MMA. And Ngannou's response was like, bro, you guys are lucky that the motherfuckers I grew up with didn't have the access to training that I did. Because he was like, bro, there was like hundreds of Ngannous just walking the street. Like the motherfuckers down there are literally next level. And MMA learned this the hard way, bro. Africans are taking this shit over.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I'll pass it back to you guys. We're just talking shit now. Go ahead.
Yeah. By the way, if that's a soy boy, then hand me all the soy because that dude was.
I thought that was a cow. I thought that was cow. I may be wrong. He said Chads are the male Karens. I just know people use Chad as like a mean way of saying the badass. I thought it was cow, right? Cow is like the male Karen, but who knows? I think
we use Chad.
Really?
Maybe I'm wrong. There's a country named Chad in Africa, so
maybe I'm wrong.
All right,
Okay, I'm naming that nigga Mufasa.
Yeah, that's a Mufasa. Yeah, I agree.
That nigga a king. What the fuck?
That's a Mufasa if I ever fucking seen one.
Simba. You
Dr.
forgotten
Joseph
me.
right there, boy.
All right, let's get to the final story. I have this story, so let's get right to it, and then I'll read all the rest of the super chats. So we're going to be talking about reparations. Yes, this is an all-black network. Yes, you can ask any one of us, do you support reparations? You're going to hear 4 yeses, right? So let's talk about this story. So I'm going to share my screen really quick because Malika, I don't want to mess up her last name. Wrong one. Oops, JB, get it together. Malika, let me see. I'm sorry, Camila Moore. Forgot. Sorry, I got name mixed up. Camila Moore said, historic moment. California commits $12 million for 2024 to 25 to begin implementing reparations for descendants of slaves, marking a significant step towards justice. This is the first such commitment since Florida's Rosewood Massacre reparations, and before that, during Reconstruction. Note, this funding supports bills that may be enacted into law, so continued advocacy is crucial. More details here. So she goes over, she links that. I'm going to go into a quick article that actually talks about it more in detail. I want to, before I get into it, I want you guys to have this question in your mind. Is this a significant development, or is it just, is it kind of crumbs? I want to know you guys' thoughts once I'm finished. So let's get into this article here. This is from the Sacramento Bee. Let's go down here. It says California Democrats to spend millions on Black reparation programs and budget agreement. So it says the budget agreement, California Governor Gavin Newsom and Democrat leaders announced on Saturday sets aside $12 million to help the state implement a series of reparations-related bills lawmakers hope to pass this year. That is a win, Democratic Assemblywoman Lori Wilson, the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus, said in an interview. For one, it was exactly what Black lawmakers asked for. But it also comes in a year when the state is facing almost a $47 billion shortfall.
What about them? What about the LAPD pensions? You know how they bring it up. Like, look at compare the numbers. I'm sorry to interrupt, JV, but I must comment here. We got a $47 billion shortfall, but you want to talk about a few $1 million? Like, why are you talking about reparations in terms of solving the debt? Why is the conversation never around police pensions? But anyway, go ahead, JB.
Good question. It says, even in a challenging deficit year, we've had our leadership and the governor recognize the obligation to those impacted by slavery. So, continuing on, says the money would help support proposals endorsed by the caucus, including having the state apologize for inflicting harm on Black Californians and allowing slavery to occur in the state. Wilson said the group is currently supporting 15 bills, including 2 constitutional amendments, and lawmakers may add another one. They hope to pass the bills by the end of the legislative session on August 31st. Says the effort follows a multi-year study by a state task force to document racist harms inflicted on Black people in California, and also to examine how leaders could enact reparations. It was the first of its kind at a state level and dispelled the myth that California was free from slavery. It says pending bills have included establishing the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency and having a new department investigate cases of possible racially motivated eminent domain. They would also prevent a state from punishing prison inmates who refuse to work and help create a grant program to fund community efforts to decrease violence in neighborhoods and schools. It says legislators also involved in a statewide tour to discuss the findings from the task force and hear from the residents. Now, here's the point that I would like to focus on. The current bills do not include setting aside cash payments for descendants of enslaved people.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ.
So this is what I was saying before. A lot of these state sponsored programs towards a pathway of reparations for people in the state, they're just a bunch of social programs that they've put together and don't actually include cash reparations. So we have to be careful about the measures that are trying to be passed in the states. Like, that is the bare minimum. That's not what's owed to descendants of slavery. I interviewed Camilla last year, where she talked about like the efforts that were underway in California. But I think everybody should look at what happened in Evanston, Illinois, where they did try to do, again, some type of social program, a housing program for Black people. It was not based on status, which it has to be in order for the Supreme Court not to overturn it. And then the situation in Evanston, Illinois got overturned. So it's important that these things that they're trying to do in California, again, this is the bare minimum. These are crumbs. They're not giving 12 million to descendants of slave in California. They're using that money towards programs. So everybody see the difference when it came to giving reparations to Japanese Americans that were part of the internment camps. They were given cash reparations, and their descendants were given cash reparations. Governor Hochul just gave more reparations, cash payments to survivors of the Holocaust. That was just recently this year. But when it comes to descendants of slavery, there's all these other things like, let's do a social program, let's study it, let's look into some more research. But they have yet to give cash reparations to descendants of slavery. The case in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where there were 2 survivors from the Tulsa Black Wall Street massacre who were rejected by the Oklahoma judge for some type of repair. Now, again, these are people that are still alive. Because the excuse that was given before is that they couldn't give it to descendants of slavery because none of us were alive during that time. These are people that are still alive that had their homes and their businesses burned to the ground. And it's not just that Black Wall Street. All the Black Wall Streets were destroyed. Every time Black people tried to accumulate some type of wealth and they started to do pretty well, the neighborhoods were burned to the ground. So this is why it's disturbing to me when I hear people say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Black people had their own businesses in those communities where the dollar was turning in the Black community to the point where they were called Black Wall Streets. And what happened? White people burned it to the ground. And that includes the US government too. They got them planes from somewhere. So when it comes to us, as I've said before, there is always an excuse why they can't give us the cash payments. And I hope everybody sees this for what it really is, because when it comes to other groups in this country, they have no problem rushing to put cash in their hand.
And Sabi, I don't even like the argument. It makes no sense, that argument of nobody was alive then, so nobody should get reparations for it now. Because if everybody benefits from slavery now, why can't I benefit, right? Why can't I benefit from my grandmothers, my grandfathers, my great-great-grandfathers, whatever the fucking may be? Why can't I benefit from their labor, but you get to, like, you get to die with your millions of dollars, you get to die with your capital, but I get to die with my grandparents' debt. Does that make sense? Is that fair in any real world? So, and for all of these social programs, we need to study. We know exactly who benefit from slavery. The companies are still here. Citibank, America Bank, the train stations, all of them are still alive and well and thriving. And this is why I say reparations shouldn't just be a one-time check. We should be getting monthly checks from corporations. We should be getting a percentage of what they make. Yearly. Black people should be getting a percentage from that. Not only that, we should be given our land that we was owed, even though it ain't worth shit now. It's probably poisoned up like to the woozah, but we still should be given the land that they had promised before they ended slavery. We should be given the money that is owed plus what they have made. So it's like I love Black people, man. I love y'all to death. But you cannot ask your enemies for a favor. You cannot ask your enemies to do what's right. Your enemies are only going to do what's right for them. So if you ask them for reparations, they're going to make sure that they get some on the back end. So this is why I said we need a revolution before we ever have reparations, because what's going to happen is they're going to give you what they want to give you, and then they're going to say, well, we gave you reparations. You see how they did the Native Americans. The Native Americans are still fighting for reparations. They still have tribes fighting for land. This, and that, and we have people trying to shut them up saying, hey, we gave you reparations, but did it actually do something to change their community as a whole? Yes, some Native Americans got rich. Some of them built buildings, apartments, casinos. Some of them, not enough of them. And we see that right now. That's the problem with the black communities. We have our LeBron Jameses, we have our Kendrick Lamars, we have our whatever the fuck, we have our celebrities, we have our rich folk, but we don't have nothing for the working base. We don't have anything for the working class. This is why the native tribes are still going through what they're going through, and this is why the black tribe is going to go through what they're going through, because we haven't been paid what we are owed, and it is a debt that is paid. It is a debt that needs to be paid. It isn't about what you owe me. Nigga, this shit should have been paid before we was even born, and we wouldn't be going through this right now. But since we're going through it right now, we need to get it over with, because I'm telling you right now, one of the main reasons why they don't want black people to have this wealth that we're owed is because a lot of black people are just going to leave. We're going to leave. Give me a couple of $1 million. I am gone. You will never, ever have to worry about me. I'm going to trace my roots. And I'm going to go back to Africa like you always told me to. And I'm going to be a revolutionary there. I'm going to leave. You know, and there's going to be a lot of black people that's going to feel the same way. They don't want to deal, because you know what's going to happen when we get these reparations? We're going to pay back the debts that we owe to the system. We're going to pay back into our medical debts. We're going to pay off our houses. We're going to pay off these liens. We're going to pay off our fucking cars. And all this shit is going to go right back to the man. And it's going to be that fucking Dave Chappelle episode of everybody getting reparations, but it went right back to the man in less than 2 weeks. Watch that fucking episode when black people got reparations. They gave all their fucking money back to the man. If we don't have a strong foundation of black people saying, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we don't have the shit continuing to go on, I don't see it going at all. They're going to give us knickknacks, crumbs out of their beard until we figure, hold on, bro, this is not enough. I'm still hungry. My kid's hungry. I got grandkids. I got this. I got that. We need real foundation. We need something that we can build on. We need land that we can call our home. And if we can't find it in America, just cut the fucking check and we will get the fuck on.
And there's so many great things to say. I'll bypass to the panel, but it's hilarious. It's always hilarious to me when poor white people are like, why should I pay for slavery? Like, what are you talking about? With what money? You poor motherfucker. What are you talking about? Poor white people are like, I got to pay for slavery. You got no money. What the fuck are you talking about? The most revolutionary thing you can talk about is reparation. You talk about returning labor value. We have generationally stole labor value, and people that want to deny the impact of generational wealth. Are you serious? Mm-hmm. So we would deny generational wealth. It led to lower life expectancy rates. We give us less opportunity. Yeah. So it's insane that poor white people oppose reparation, even though that shit not coming from you. We need revolutionary change come from the system. We need the rich to pay this shit, because, you know, they're the one who benefit from slavery. They still got the generational wealth that came from the plantations. They engaged in slavery. They engaged in wage theft. So reparation is the most radical, revolutionary Marxist program you can ask for, because we directly seizing the means of production and giving it back to the people who had their labor stolen. Understand what this means. Reparation is the ultimate form of class warfare. It's so much class warfare. We are literally taking shit back from the slave owners. Mm-hmm. And if you're
against reparations, then you're actually participating in anti-Marxist thought and idea.
Right, and all these motherfuckers talking about, well, this is like, I don't get this online left bullshit. Everybody was against. I'm not only land back. I'm pretty sure RBN is land back. I'm not only land back, but I'm gold back. I want reparations for everybody. I want reparations for everybody that we fucked up. I think we should give the gold back to Africa, the gold back to the Middle East. I think we should give them back control of the resources that we have stolen. I believe in reparations for all, not just black people. But if we can't get a first foot, if we can't take a first step, then we ain't going nowhere at all. Because of the descendants of slavery, that is the reason why you are here right now. The reason why you have the lithiums in your back. Like we're not even talking about 200-300 years ago. We still have slavery on this earth today. There are more slaves on this earth than there was when our people was enslaved. There are still more slaves in America than it was when my people was enslaved because of the prison industrial complex. So I need reparations for all of my people, and not only just for American slavery. I need American slave descendants to have reparations for the Jim Crow Act. I need them to have reparations for the prison industrial complex, the CIA putting crack in our neighborhoods. I need reparations for it all. I need them to be held accountable for it all, because if it's not, then we can't take one step forward, and we can't give the Haitians their reparations back that they are owed. If we can't give the black people their reparations, then we won't be able to fucking make this shit right. And I'm telling you guys, all you white motherfuckers who fear the black man getting up, I could be down. Don't fear me being up. Fear me being down. Because if I'm down, I'm taking all of you with me, and I don't give a fuck what you have. I don't give a fuck about your status. If you have it, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna rob you. Don't fear me when I'm up, because I wouldn't give a fuck. I would just move to the burbs, take my family, and get the fuck on. But if you want me down, if you try to keep me down, I'm gonna take it from you, because it's only fucking right. So white people, you should be fighting for reparations more than anything. If you don't want these black people out here robbing you, if you don't want these black people in your neighborhood, if you don't want these black people looking like they're plotting against you, if you don't want to have to lock your fucking doors, when you should be fighting for reparations so these black people can get the fuck on.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead, JB. JB, if you have anything, I know we got to wrap up soon. I know Stats got to go. I gotta go too. But JB, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I want to do one more last point, and this is my chance to give you some flowers, Nick. One of the things that I want to share my screen for is this is one of the websites that you actually co-founded, was 10 Demands.
Hey.
Now, so number one demand was defund the police and reallocate resources to impacted communities. One of the final demands that you put in was, let me see, here was apologize and provide reparations. Now, with that being said, here's my point. If you guys can have $12 million to give just towards putting out bills, then why couldn't you take that $12 million and start allocating it to black people within the cities so that they can have reparations in California, since you guys want to give this money so easily? See, the point is that y'all actually don't want to give them money. Y'all just want to talk about it. Y'all just want to, oh, we're talking about it. That's like talking about getting married, but never do. And you keep promising the lady, oh, yeah, we're going to get married, or we're going to go ring shopping, but you never do. Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? So that's exactly the point that I want to make, is that, yes, is this a step in the right direction? Yeah, it's maybe a step, maybe a half step. But the thing is that it's not going nowhere near where it needs to go, because they're going to keep playing in your face until it actually needs to happen. And it almost really going to need to happen until people actually stop and say, you know what, we're done with y'all. And when we're done with y'all, we're gonna go hard or go home. And how that looks, I can't tell you. But I'm gonna tell you right this: we are done. You know.
Let me just add something here really quick, because I think this needs to be said. What I've noticed too is that it seems like it's only an issue when descendants of slavery are asking for reparations. I didn't hear a lot of people complaining when Governor Hochul gave more reparations to the survivors of the Holocaust. Yeah. And this is not to say they're not owed that. They are owed those reparations, but it's only when descendants of slavery ask for it. I didn't hear this outpour of that's divisive and don't talk about this when Japanese Americans from the internment camps were given reparations. And it was actually Ronald Reagan that signed that into law, a conservative president. So it's very clear who they want to give it to and who they don't want to give it to. And by the way, make this very clear, guys, and note this, take a note of this and write this down, because at some point there is going to be a call for reparations in Gaza. Are you going to be for that, or are you going to be against that? So people need to start thinking about these things. At some point or another, there is going to be a demand for reparations for Palestinians that have been occupied and oppressed in the Middle East. And I would hope that everyone would be in favor of that.
Yeah, Sabby, to your point, you want to know something else they do regarding reparations? Whenever people talk about reparations for descendants of slavery, all of a sudden, all the incrementalism leaves their body, and all of a sudden, they become a diehard revolutionary. Because whenever we talk about reparations, they say, "Oh, we can have reparations. Reparations not going to tear down the system. We need to tear down the system." Nigga, reparations is a dead old. And you guys know that no other issue is talked about like this. Whenever people talk about student debt, is there a white guy who comes around saying, "Oh, we can't support student debt. We need to tear down the system"? Whenever someone talks about Medicare fraud, it says, "Oh, we can't support Medicare fraud. The empire still exists." Oh, what we have a minimum wage increase? Well, a minimum wage increase is not getting rid of the empire that's committing a genocide. You guys know they always do that with black reparations. We say we need reparations of the debt owed to black Americans. It's like, well, how is that going to destroy the empire? Nigga, that's not the ass. The ass is to pay the goddamn debt owed. It's the only issue where people immediately go revolution or bust. If there's no revolution that's going to happen, no need to support. There's no other issue that's treated that way. Now, I want to bring this up.
Hold on, Nick. You just snapped on my mind. These people go off the percentages of who support what, right? Like, oh, this percentage of people don't support it, and this type of people support it, whatever the fuck it may be. You are talking about a racist nation. You are coming at me with numbers from a racist nation, with the majority of you motherfuckers being propagandized, undereducated, and racist. So you want to come to me with like, oh, well, these type of people don't support reparations? Of course. The majority of you motherfuckers are racist here. What the fuck? Look at the motherfuckers who didn't support the Black Panthers. Look at the motherfuckers who didn't support all the black liberation movements during their time. The fuck you gonna come at me with numbers from a racist fucking country? Like,
yeah,
that's
and the last thing I wanted to share. The last thing I want to share, because JB highlighted my website, because I don't know if you guys know this. If you go to the 10 Demands website, you can go to every single demand, because it took a lot of work to create this organization. That's Zoya and all the late night Zoom calls we had where we was researching and brainstorming. Under every single demand, you can find a very long description on why we put it there. We literally have legislation that's on the book that can be implemented. And we have a very large amount of information here. And what we also do at 10 Demands, and this is what I was showing earlier, for every single demand, I literally did a live stream for an hour where me and Zoya, that's Zoya's love, Zoya's life there, we would bring people on. We talk about each and every demand in detail for around an hour on our website, if you're interested. And we had a reparation panel, like one of the many that we have done, where I explained why reparations is extremely important. Absolutely, last talk. I know we got to wrap. Both me and Savvy got to leave. Yeah. Beyond slavery, beyond everything else, do you guys understand that there was a study done regarding civil asset forfeiture that found that Black people was victims of civil asset forfeiture at around a 65% rate? So despite us being 13% of the population, we was victims of civil asset forfeiture 65% of the time. That is state legalized theft. So what white America did, they put police officers to occupy our community, and then they imposed regressive fines and fees that is directly responsible for stealing our wealth, innocent or guilty. Because even if we was innocent, we would drain with legal fees. Mm-hmm. And that was another institutionalized policy in order to take wealth from the Black community and give it to the white community, give it to the police state. So speaking of reparations, slavery is just one of many things, my friends. Mm-hmm. Civil asset forfeiture, red line, all that stuff. But anyway, Sabby, I'll pass to you. We got to wrap up. We really do. We really do got to wrap up. Sabby, go ahead. I'll pass it to you. And let's wrap up. I think we already went pretty long.
Yeah, I was just going to add the redlining. Don't forget the war on drugs. Don't forget the crime bills. I mean, it's a long list of things to add But anyway, to wrap up, yep. So I'm not going to be live tonight. I have to tell you guys, obviously, we're not. I'm not covering the debate. I know people asked about it, but just to recap for people who don't understand, CNN has exclusive rights to the debate, so we can't. Unfortunately, independent media is not allowed to stream that debate. But I will be live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Dr. Dr. Melinda, she used to work. She was a part of Black Lives Matter. She's going to come on. We're going to have a in-depth conversation about that. So,
yeah, looking for that. This is my receipt. Well, I just shared earlier. You guys see this? You guys know I'm all about the receipts. I don't make a goddamn thing up on the show. About 65% of the people targeted for civil asset forfeiture in the state in 2014, 2016 was black males. Damn, they separated from black males. So that is black men. And white people like, why should we pay you reparations? Slavery was a long time ago. You fucking children. But anyway,
my family didn't own any slaves.
Well, if that's the case, then why is this such an issue? This is from Crane's Chicago Business. Typical black households in Chicago have zero net worth study reports. So why is that actually happening? Is it just because we can't pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, or is it because we didn't get the money that was owed to us?
It's the hip hop, JB. It's the hip and the hop.
It's $8 in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
It's the game. The game's got the niggas fucked up. It's the Jordans.
Yeah, it was the 2K. Went for 2K. In the rap, right. In the hip and the hop. But it was a great stream, guys. JB, I'll pass it to you. It was a great stream. It was very fun.
Yeah. Let me get to just to let you guys know, please make sure to like the stream. Appreciate it very much. And also, let's get into the super chats. I think we only have a couple left.
Yes, Sabby, you can dip out if you have to. I know you had it. You got time.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right. Take care, Sabs.
Bye.
All right. So let's get into these. So we have Seth saying, "My soul is bleeding. The show, all of you are a healing force, a revolutionary force. Thank you. Thank you very much." Right. Yourself. John Freese says the Confederate South was taken down by Union soldiers from the North and slave revolts in the South. We need to use the same plan with international and domestic communist solidarity. Good point. Thank you. We have Tom Stavro. Thank you so very much for the super sticker. Appreciate it very much. C. Mitchell says, "Can we sue the descendants of the slave owners? Some of them are kin, to be honest. Why can't they pay? It is what we deserve, is what we should sue." Most, actually, I think presidents are actually descendants of slave owners, including Barack Obama. Yeah. So that's actually been shown. Interesting. This one is from, I can't even say that word, Princessa. Oh. It says, "Yes, European colonists need to pay Palestinian reparations for Nakba and 100 years of European terrorism in Palestine." Agreed.
Absolutely. Bro, if I had a genie in a bottle and you told me what I think what the West should do for Palestine, I would make a lot of white people upset. Let me tell you that. Nigga, I think you guys should surrender Germany or something. Nigga, you actually lose some states after what you did about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, once again, it's not gonna happen. But bro, you give me a genie in the bottle, and that's what should happen for Black Americans. What should happen for Indigenous Americans? What should happen for Palestinians? Oh boy, I will make your Westerns really mad if I had that fucking wish and that power. Trust me. My imagination can only run wild. Motherfucker, give them the IMF. Give them everything. But go ahead.
Should break up NATO and give them their weapons.
Yeah.
I want to arm Hamas with hypersonic missiles. I want them to have nukes.
Yeah. Not only do you get a free Palestine, we're gonna give you this island called the UK. You can have that land there because the UK is fucking worthless. They owe so much reparation. I'll give the whole island away for indigenous people. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So let me also go to this just to give a shout out to all the patrons on Patreon. Without you guys, we would not be able to do the work that we do. See, here at our Revolutionary Blackout Network, one of the things that we try to do is not only talk the talk, but also walk the walk. This is why we also have chapters in our respective cities. And we're also on the ground doing whatever we possibly can in order to activate and encourage people to build dual power so that we can change this system. So just as a note to you guys, Rome is in Detroit. Nick is in Kansas City. Sabby's in Boston, and myself is in Orlando. And so we do actions on the ground whenever we possibly can. I'll be doing action on the ground in the near future. We just have to organize together to see about exactly how we're going to do it. But we are in talks of doing that right now. So thank you so very much to everybody for letting us to be able to do this. You guys literally keep the lights on in here. So thank you so very much for becoming patrons on Patreon, supporting us.
I was just about to speak on that. It's not going too good. I need to. I got my other Twitter page.
Going, so I see you. I gotta get going right now, though.
Okay, take care, Nick.
I got my other Twitter page back, but I just need to get in my email. So it's kind of hard for me to organize without revamping my other Twitter page. So it's been going pretty slow. So if y'all would like to donate, y'all can donate to Tour for the Poor. I've been trying to get some shit together for the women's shelter. Yes, we're doing a women's shelter. It isn't going as fast as I would like it. Like, I haven't got an email yet. Like, nobody emailed me. I was like, wow, like no clothes been sent here. So it's going a little bit slower than what I would expect. But if you would like to donate, if you would like to help, please donate or DM or email me. I'm about to put my email in the chat. So if you have clothes, anything, hygiene products, wigs, shoes, coats, anything that you want to give away, please, if you have the time to send it, please email me, and I will give you an address that you can send it to. I might have to push it back. If we don't get everything by the 5th, I'm gonna just push it back. I'm pretty sure, it ain't gonna be too big, but I don't want to push it back from the 5th to the 10th. I'm gonna push it back like the 5th to the 7th. But we're gonna be working on the stuff pretty soon. I'm gonna try to get my oh shit, Kurt, thank you for the $200. Thank you for the $200, Kurt, on Venmo. That's love. So that kind of helped me a lot. Because I was like, man, this deodorant costs so fucking much. But I will be back on RBN tomorrow live. I got a couple of things I want to talk about China. We're gonna be talking about China a lot. I want to talk about a couple of countries out there in Africa. We're gonna be talking about the treaty and the agreements that Putin and Kim Jong-un just signed with Russia and the DPRK. So if you want to tune into that. I'm gonna have receipts for everything that I bought tomorrow. So I have everything on that on my Twitter page. Unholy Rome. The E is a 4 now, so it's Unholy Rome 4. Thank you guys.
So what time will that be, Rome?
I don't know. I don't know. I just come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Catch me if you can, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I told you I was like the gingerbread man. I don't have no, I got a show, but I don't have no time slots because I feel like fuck the rules, man. Why should I?
Okay. All right. So I have this one last super chat. Says U.S. will pay reparations for Holocaust they didn't commit, but not for slavery they actually commit. Yeah, that's a point. That's definitely a point there. So as for me, this Saturday is actually my birthday. I'll be doing a stream at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys would like to go on my channel, I'll be doing a birthday stream. Also, if you guys do not know, on my channel, I also read books and discuss them. So
JB about to be 55, y'all. Y'all believe it? Nigga don't even look like it.
So we'll be getting into The Will to Change by Bell Hooks. We'll be getting into that. That's one of the books I read on my channel. I also do the reading of Prejudicial by Margaret Kimberly. So I'll also be getting into that book. And then we'll also, of course, I read Of Water in the Spirit by Melodoma Patrice Somé. So we'll be getting into those books later this week. And so, what's up?
Take my advice, brother. These don't need to be live readings. You need to record your voice. You need to record your voice so you can have breath control and you can talk in your deepest tone and place it as a pre-record so people can go to sleep to your voice, to you reading them books, and you can put it in different sections like this chapter, this chapter, that, pre-recorded. And it's a program. It's not Pro Tools, but it's a program that is real easy. And all you gotta, all it's gonna, it'll teach you how to engineer, take out certain breaths and something like that. Pre-record it. That way you can get the deepest voice that you can out of it. And you can do the different voices, or you know what I'm saying? Like how our teachers used to be like, you know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. Pre-record it. And we can get the real voice out of JB, and we can always just go back to this chapter, that chapter, and you might get a fucking deal, bro. I'm telling you, you got a voice, use it, pre-record, and edit that shit to where it's like, it's almost make you feel like you fall into the book, right? You want to feel like you are a part of the book. So I don't know. It's just an idea, but.
Yeah, I actually, for the most part, I actually do pre-records. They just premiere. So I do that on my channel. So yeah. But
see, he's not wrong, JB. Vocal image. Like that. I'm telling you, if all we need is a picture of the fucking cover of the book, and you know what I'm saying? Or even the pages, you know what I'm saying? They flip through with the pages. That way people can read it, or you can do the subtitles, but you got a voice on you, man. I wouldn't waste it.
All right. I'll look into it. Thank you so very much. And yeah, Mr. Meepsor says he's not wrong. Thank you. All right. So with that being said, we are going to head on out.
That's the there you go. There you go.
Vocal images and app. Okay. All right. I'll take a look at that. Yeah. Got to see if I have time and energy though, because I'm already swamped. But we'll see. I can try it out. But outside of that, I think we're pretty much good. Just checking on the Rockfin to make sure that we don't have any tips on Rockfin. Thank you so very much for that. And then I think we're good. I think we're good on the super chats too. Because yeah, we got to go. Okay. All right, everybody. Deuces, Bruces. Look, water your plants, water yourselves, leave the world better than you found. Smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them. If you got them, then watch something funny, because joy is revolutionary. And yeah. Mwah, forehead kisses to every single one of y'all, because that's who I am. And I'll see y'all.
Brother. I'm about to go. My stepdaughter talking about going to the dispensary.
All right, pink.
I'm hungry. I've been working out all day. You know what I'm saying? Look at my titties, bro.
Actually, I went to the gym today too, so it's all good.
I'm trying to get back. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my cuts back. They ain't like how I used to be back in my early 20s, but I'm about to get my 6-pack back because I'm trying to get this tattoo. I'm gonna have a tattoo. I've been sweating. I'm about to get a tattoo. You know, I got the hammer and sickle on my left titty. I'm about to have a naked lady on this side. She's gonna have all type of tattoos coming up my ribs. She's gonna have an afro, and she's gonna be reaching for my hammer and sickle. And I'm gonna try to get my middle piece. So I'm trying to get my 6-pack. You know that what's that nigga name? You know that nigga name? With the V.
I know a lot of ones with the V. But
the nigga who came out with the song, he was naked.
D'Angelo.
I'm trying to get the D'Angelo back. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the D'Angelo. You know.
How does it feel?
Let me stop. Wrong. You're in trouble again. All right, man. I'll see you in the next one, man. I love you, man. I'll see you.
Yo, I'm hungry. I love y'all.
All right. Good night, everybody.